the Red Sea, and now the United States and Britain have fought back. They carried out bombing strikes, hitting over 60 targets in Yemen. Defense Minister Richard Marles says Australia was one of the supporting allies.
This action was supported by 4 other nations: Canada, Bahrain, the Netherlands and Australia. Australia's support of these actions came in the form of personnel in the operational headquarters.
All 6 crew members survived when their U.S. Navy helicopter crashed into San Diego Bay. It happened during a training exercise yesterday. Winter has its grip on much of the country. Brian Jackson at the National Weather Service says one of the storm systems is pounding the nation's midsection with snow.
An additional 8 to 12 inches in eastern Iowa, and then 12 to 18 inches over a good portion of southern, central, northeastern Wisconsin, and then much of Michigan will also get 12 to 20 inches of snow.
A United Airlines plane made an emergency landing after a warning about a possible door issue.
An airport spokesman in Tampa, Florida, says United Airlines jet out of Sarasota cut short a flight Wednesday and landed there after pilots were alerted about a possible issue with the door. United says the plane took off later after the issue was addressed. The aircraft involved was an Airbus A319. Last week, a plug that takes the place of a door on some Boeing MAX 9 jetliners blew off an Alaska Airlines plane shortly after takeoff from Portland, Oregon. I'm Norman Hall.
At the UN's top court, Israel is insisting that its war in Gaza is a legitimate defense of its people. It's defending itself against genocide accusations. More at townhall.com.
Relief factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
GOP senators are giving a thumbs down to efforts by conservative House members to force Speaker Johnson to backtrack on a federal budget deal with Democrats.
Just days after Johnson arrived at the top-line spending compromise to avoid a government shutdown, the most fiscally conservative members of his caucus say it still includes too much wasteful spending. But their effort to push a new alternative has many GOP senators worried the entire compromise may wind up DOA in the upper chamber. That's not going to work, warned Senator Mitt Romney. Good luck, said Appropriations Committee member Lisa Murkowski, noting an agreement has already been achieved and, quote, let's move on. Bob Agnew reporting.
The Federal Aviation Administration says it will audit Boeing's aircraft production and increase oversight of the company after a panel fell off a jetliner in mid-flight last week. The agency is also investigating whether that fuselage panel met regulations. News and analysis at townhall.com. It appears that warning signs were missed in the Maine mass shooting case late last year.
Army reservist Sean Hodgson was best friends for almost 20 years with the man who fatally shot 18 people in Maine in October. 6 weeks before the mass shooting, Hodgson sent a text to their Army supervisor about Robert Card, which read, quote, I believe he's going to snap and do a mass shooting. Stephanie Sherman is an attorney who represents families of the victims.
There was a whole batch of problems that they quickly could have gotten an order to confiscate the guns.
Card killed 18 people at a bowling alley and a bar in Lewiston before killing himself. I'm Shelley Adler.
Nearly a dozen new Bitcoin funds began trading in U.S. markets for the first time yesterday, providing increased access to the cryptocurrency for everyday investors. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here? I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel witch and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, everybody. Mike Winters here with you. It's not much of a voice, but it's what I got. And I don't feel bad. I just sound like this. So I apologize for that. But good morning, everybody. I am he. It is me, Mike Winters. And welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. And I'm glad to sort of be back with you. I know this sounds awful, and I really apologize for it. But quite frankly, I'm going to go as long as I can here. Try to get some stuff I'm going to replay, and we do have some guests coming in that we'll try to accommodate as best we can today. Our big buddy Sean is not feeling well. I think it's finally caught up with him, and so he's home now. So it is us here today. The only thing that is bugging me is my voice. I feel energy. I'm pretty normal. I'm not running any marathons, but I feel okay. I have some chest congestion, obviously. My head doesn't hurt. All of that. It's just I have zero voice, and I can't project anything past this. So sorry. And to get anything of a whisper out, I got to put this weird little grasp to it just to get some kind of audio tone to the voice. Otherwise, it's just wind coming out. So, good morning. I'm going to work with this the best I can. And I hope you guys can forgive me and deal with it a little bit here today. But pray for Sean. He's now starting to feel under the weather, and it's not fun. So we'll be praying for him. We're going to replay our interview that Sean had with Crystal Noble from the Roswell Humane Society yesterday, where she talked a little bit about what they've got going on. In the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to have Sheriff Mike Harrington. I may have Caitlin Turner with the library as well. I saw that popped on the calendar when I came in, so we'll see you there. And then also Nook with Asian Market may be joining us as well. Again, we'll do our best with those today with what we got, and hopefully they'll be able to work with us here a little bit on that. So that's kind of what we have on tap this morning. Before we do any of that, let's go ahead and take a look at your weather forecast.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Looks like the wind will calm down a little bit today with that cold front now through our area. We'll be getting sunshine across the whole area. Afternoon highs in the low to mid 50s. A little bit breezy, wind at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Pretty cold overnight. We'll drop into the upper 20s under clear skies, and then 60 and plenty of sunshine on Saturday. Cooler Sunday, 50 and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 25 degrees or -4 Celsius for those who use the centigrade. Humidity is at 37%. Winds are calm at the moment. We're looking at sunny skies today, 53 for a high, with winds out of the west, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear, 26 for an overnight low. Winds will be out of the west, 5 to 10. For your Saturday, sunny, 61 for a high. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday, partly cloudy and a high of 37. Winds will be out of the south, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Monday for your Martin Luther King Jr. Day, sunny skies and a high of 41. All right, it is 10 minutes after 7. We're going to play a 2-minute commercial break, and then we'll come back and play the interview with Crystal Noble from the Humane Society. Don't go away. You're listening to this Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5.
Hey, Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing. Trustmark is one of the only roofing companies that's also a licensed commercial and residential general contractor.
Wow.
I know, who cares, right? Well, you should care. You see, a licensed roofer can install a new roof on your home, but really can't handle structural problems underneath. So if your roof needs reframing or your chimney needs a water diverting cricket, you may need to call a licensed general contractor. And coordinating 2 companies for your roofing job can get costly and messy fast. As a licensed roofer and general contractor, Trustmark can install a stunning new roof on your home and handle structural issues. This saves you time, money, hassle, and even makes it easier to file an insurance claim. Call today for your 20% off coupon for our spring roof and gutter maintenance service. 575-755-ROOF or visit us at TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
At Richland Motors, it's never been easier to sell or trade your current car, truck, or SUV for a newer model to hit the road in. Even if you don't purchase from Richland, they want to buy your vehicle for top dollar. But if you do buy from Richland, don't forget, they're the home of the powertrain warranty for life. That's a whole lot of confidence for you. See Richland for details, 2nd and Sycamore, and 1309 Southeast Main.
The Artesia Arts Council presents Gunhild Carling, Sweden's Queen of Swing, Saturday, January 27th at the Ocotillo Performing Arts Center in downtown Artesia. Gunhild Carling and the entire family of musicians, singers, dancers, and more promise a dazzling evening that you and your family won't soon forget. Pre-sale adult tickets are $35 and $25 for K-12. Week of show tickets are $45 and $35. So get yours early at ArtesiaArtsCouncil.com. Enjoy the marvelous Gunhild Carling, Sweden's Queen of Swing, 7 p.m. Saturday, January 27th at the Ocotillo Performing Arts Center in downtown Artesia. Paid for by Artesia Lodgers Tax.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Men are 6 times more likely to be struck by lightning than women. That's because men are 6 times more likely to wear a tinfoil hat in a thunderstorm. Here's Mike Winters.
18 minutes now, and good morning, 18 minutes after 9 o'clock, 19 minutes now, and joining us in studio this morning, in an official capacity now, from the Roswell Humane Society, Ms. Crystal Noble. How are you doing this morning?
Wonderful, if that wind wasn't blowing.
I know, it's already starting to get at it, and I don't think it's going to show any signs of stopping for the next couple of days, so good luck to you out there. It's, you know, honestly, it wouldn't be so bad if the wind itself wasn't so just, like, biting. Like, it just takes your breath away.
Yeah, it's like, it feels like there's an iceberg right outside of Roswell and it's blowing right off.
Right, exactly. It's polar wind that we're dealing with. But how's your 2024 been so far?
Not bad. Some not cool things with animals, but hopefully we can get people to stop being jerks.
You know, that's, you hope for the best, but honestly, it's probably not going to happen. I did hear some things that went down recently, and it's kind of just a real bummer. People are terrible. It was left a dog in the cage, I guess, outside of the
Champ.
Yeah. That's just, that's awful. Obviously, you know, that's a horrific event. You hope that it's, you know, once in a lifetime thing, but honestly, we know it's.
We have people that leave animals in crates outside our door all the time. The majority of the time, they do it before we get there, so that way when we get there, we see them.
Right.
But it's not often we have somebody leave an animal half dead outside our door while we're open and not even try to come in and say, hey, you know, even if you just found the dog and you're trying to help it.
Right.
You know, come in, let us know, because we don't have a window. Mm-hmm. It's all metal. I can't look out there and see, oh, somebody left something outside the door.
Right.
So if somebody wouldn't have told us, hey, somebody left a crate outside the door, until we had to go outside for something, we wouldn't have found them.
That is awful. I just dog on it. So obviously that problem notwithstanding, it's a new year for the Humane Society, and what do we hope to achieve in 2024 with the Humane Society?
Well, we are officially started for our new roof.
Okay.
So hopefully by the end of the month, weather permitting, they will get started on that. So if anybody wants to donate monetary donations towards the cost of it, because it is quite expensive.
Absolutely. Especially for the size of your facility.
Yeah, and it's because the thrift shop and our facility is all in one. So they're doing the thrift shop and ours all together because it's one building.
Right.
So it is well over $100,000. So if anybody would kindly help us with that, we would greatly appreciate it. Or go shop at the thrift store.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, is because while these funds are being diverged from the Humane Society, there's still need under the roof.
Right.
There's still things happening. You guys are still functioning as a Humane Society. So please, any and all donations, absolutely appreciated. Even down to dog food, cat food, litter, things that are needed in the shelter. Those are absolutely appreciated. Any money they don't have to spend on feeding the animals, keeping them safe and healthy, that can go towards repairs that are absolutely needed for the facility, and long overdue as well.
Yeah, the roof has been long overdue, and it's our air conditioning units sit up on top of the roof, so when they're bowing in because the metal's getting weaker. But we built that building in the early 80s, and that's the original roof it came with.
Wow.
And then in 2008, we had a repair done on it where they put a foam underneath it, which didn't work out like they said it was going to. So basically, the foam is just covering the rusted metal.
Oh, they just band-aided over the problem.
Pretty much.
So thanks, other guys. But we're going with a trusted source, somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yes.
A decent group of people. So this time the job will be done, and it'll be done right, but it will be done for very expensively.
Yeah, unfortunately. So any and all donations towards the roof would be greatly appreciated. That would just help us to where we're able to continue to focus on the care of the animals inside the shelter.
Now, are there any any fundraisers in works to maybe help beleaguer some of these costs? Anything planned? Ideas in the fire?
So far, no, not yet. Just because we had to make a really quick decision. Because as we get into spring, we have to be on the roof maintaining the air conditioners. And so in order to have it safe for the employees that go up there and maintain the air conditioners, we had to get it done and where it can sit and rest and be comfortable.
Be normal in time for... And, as we all know, warm expands things too. So obviously, things are going to, bow and expand and contract, as it gets warmer out. So that's also becomes an issue. You want to make sure that everything's settled and ready for summertime, because if winter's been as mild as it's been,
we're going to have one hot summer.
Exactly. I'm not looking forward to it.
No.
Rhiannon's constantly whining about how cold it is. I'm like, remember that in July.
And it's funny because John and I were talking the other day, and I told him, I was like, we're not having a winter. We're having a funky spring, fall. And our summer, we're going to die. Like, it's just going to be astronomically hot and dry.
Yeah. Power bills are through the roof. It's, it's something that we all deal with. And obviously with you guys with the facility, I'm sure that power bill is not insignificant.
No, because we have swamp coolers for the thrift store, and then for the back where the dogs are, our water bill goes up to like $1,400 to run the swamp coolers, and then us do our daily cleaning, and then the electric bills anywhere between $700 and $800 a month.
That is rough. Any talk or ideas of grants or getting somebody to
we do have 2 people that are on our board that focus on grants, and they've been applying. And trying to do everything that they can to help us get grants. Unfortunately, with us being so small, a lot of the places that give grants look for like populations of like 250, 300,000, where we're not even 100,000. And we can't include Artesia. We can include Lake Arthur, Hager, Dexterman, the little areas,
Yeah.
but it's not enough to give us the population we need for some of the better grants.
See, and that's a bummer. It's literally a problem that we can't do anything about. It has no answer on that one. So that's not a source of money. So obviously donations are paramount right now. Making sure that we can keep the doors open, keep the animals fed and safe, and obviously that is the top priority. But making sure that the roof is fixed is definitely a vital thing.
Yeah, we don't want any part of the roof caving in on anybody.
Oh, exactly. So under the roof, how are things with the felines and the canines?
We are full house.
Yeah.
I was supposed to have a transport this past Monday, but because of weather, I had to cancel that transport because the roads were closed and I wouldn't have been able to get through.
Yeah.
So I have every single dog kennel full.
My dad used to have a theory about why it never rains or snows in Roswell, and his theory was that because of all the dairies in Roswell and because of all the methane created by the cows, that we have a methane bubble over Roswell that just blankets us away from any and all storms.
Well, it's funny because my aunt has a similar version, but she calls it the alien dome.
Oh, it just works its way around. It's because pretty much most of New Mexico and actually like 2/3 of the country were blanketed in snow earlier this week and late last week. So, but we were blue skies and sunshine. Go figure, nicest weather we've had in weeks. But we digress. So full house. Obviously, so when are we able to make that transport?
It was rescheduled for the 29th.
Okay.
So weather permitting again, because down here we don't get crap, but up there they do.
Right.
So as long as the weather's good and no road closures ahead, I'll be doing another reschedule this transport for the 29th.
Okay.
But complete full house. Like I said, I have no open kennels whatsoever.
So obviously, please, if you have room in your life, or if you are making the decision to adopt, the time is right.
It is. Start off the new year with the new dog or cat.
My mind goes to all the car commercials that I cut. Selection is at its best. Come in and make an offer. No reasonable offer will be refused.
We have probably 2 dogs, maybe 3 that have been there almost a year.
Sorry, I'm only laughing because our show is not interesting enough for him to even watch it. I digress. Anyways.
You can see back there.
So as you were saying, I'm sorry.
There's I think 3. One will be February, one's March, and one's April that they'll be hitting their 1-year mark there at the shelter. So really need to focus on getting them a home, getting them out of the shelter, because the longer anybody stays confined, humans or animals, they start to revert to a different state.
It's institutionalization. It happens to humans. It's bound to happen to animals. You revert to the mindset of what's going to keep you the safest in the environment that you find yourself in.
Right.
So you become a kennel dog essentially, and that's no fun. So breed wise, big dog, small dog, some as big as your head.
We have it all. So he's not quite ready for adoption yet, but his name is Einstein.
Okay.
And big name for a dog that is about that big.
Oh.
He is maybe a full pound.
Oh. Dang it, that's adorable. Puppy, I'm assuming?
He's a puppy.
What's the breed?
Chihuahua.
Oh, so he's going to stay that way.
Yeah, and it's funny because his siblings are like 4 of these, and he is so tiny. It's cute.
I will say this, that the small dogs, and I'm guessing it's because the blood doesn't have to move as far around the body to make it, they live forever.
Yeah, 25, 30 years.
My kid's Aunt Betsy has a dog named Saki. This dog, she's had this dog for, I swear, going on like 25 years or so. And I don't know,
And his ears stand up now.
But, that's a tough sell right there. I can't. My cat will kill me. And he knows where I sleep, so I can't. I've been very close to adopting. There was one time, I believe this was over the summer during the farmers market. They had the dogs out on the street, which we've talked about the issues with that whole thing. But there was a dog that was there. I saw this dog and almost started crying. I was with my friend Misty. I said, Misty, we need to go. We need to leave right now because I'm going to adopt that dog if we do not leave right now. That was tough. When presented with cuteness, my guard tends to go way down. But yeah, so obviously, big dogs, small dogs, something for everybody. If you live in an apartment, if you're
small,
looking for
medium, large,
something that
the biggest dog we have right now is probably going to be Queenie, Luther, and Canalita.
Okay.
Queenie is a boxer pit mix. She's brindle, beautiful, sweet, housebroken, loves people, loves to love. Luther, probably boxer pit mix. He's brindle and white. He's goofy as all could be. He just doesn't like cats very well. And then Canalita is a healer mix, and she's probably like the size of a small German Shepherd, but looks like a healer.
Healer's become a lot more popular in this region, especially over the last few years. I've really seen a lot more healers popping up.
They're great cattle
specifically
dogs.
Red healers.
Yeah, and those are the ones that aren't very common, but they're becoming a lot more common here.
Yeah.
They're wonderful cattle dogs.
I blame Bluey. I'm just gonna leave that leave it right there.
And but they're active. They have to have a job.
Yep.
They're not, let's sit in the yard dog. No.
Right.
They need a job. They need something to do, and they need something to occupy their brain, because if not, they're going to lose their crap.
So if you're somebody who has maybe a ranch, a lot of land, looking for some, maybe a cattle dog, something along those lines, definite choice there.
She would be great.
Absolutely. How are things over in the feline world?
We have a ton of black cats.
Really?
Yes, we still have cats from right before Halloween, because we don't do any black cat adoptions for the month of Halloween.
Or white.
Or white.
Right.
So I have 4 black cats. We have Quill and Gable. They're siblings, and they're going on 17 or 18 weeks now.
Okay.
And then we have BB, which stands for Black Beauty.
Nice.
She's going on 2 years now. 2 years old. Not at the shelter for 2 years.
Right.
And then we have a new one. His name is Winston, and he's actually a Bombay. So people don't know the difference between a Bombay and a regular domestic short hair cat. So a domestic short hair cat is going to be all black and have like just normal cat color eyes. A Bombay is all black, and their eyes are amber.
Oh, okay.
Or gold.
Okay.
And their body structure is slightly different, and their facial structure is different.
It's similar thing. I only recently figured out that my cat's breed is Burmese, not Siamese. It was mostly just because of the color of the body is lighter and the color of the eyes. It said, okay, he's a Burmese, not a Siamese. So yeah, there's those tiny little differences in cat breeds. They really do make a difference.
Winston is acclimating into the shelter. Not too fond of it all right now, so a little bit of time and let him calm down and see that everybody in the shelter's not so mean.
Which that's going to take some time, obviously new environment, you got to kind of feel things out.
When they first come into the shelter, obviously, we vaccinate them and get them set, so everybody hates me for a little while after.
It's kind of like, delousing at the jail cell.
They're like,
looks down on the warden.
So they come in, I give them vaccinations, deworming, whatever they need, and he's just like, don't you come near me. Last time I let you touch me, you stabbed me.
It's really funny. I've sort of noticed over the years going with my kids to the doctor, but I've picked up on this. Doctors very rarely are the ones that deliver the shots.
No, it's
They'll
always
come
the
in and do
nurses.
the checkup, and then the nurse comes in and administers the vaccination.
Yes.
Because you don't want your kids to hate their doctor.
No.
And they're going to associate that needle with that doctor. So that's kind of a baller move. You need a assistant that'll just come in and do all the dirty work. That's what we need.
I have other people trained to do it, but the majority of the time it's just easier. I'm right
just
there.
So you can come in and play good cop, and like every time they give a shot, you smack them on the arm and give them cuddles. Give the animal cuddles.
Well, I always give them a kiss right after I tell them I'm sorry.
Oh, that's horrible, because now they're associating love with pain.
Some people like pain and love.
That's true. I'm just saying you're making little,
Well, I tell them I'm sorry. I'm not
masochist.
trying to hurt them. I tell them it's for your health.
That's right. Well,
I'm always nice about it. I'm not like, rah.
And in fairness, a little poke on the side is probably a lot better off than what they were dealing with on the streets.
Yes.
Or out in the world.
Yeah, our world is a cruel, cruel world for these guys.
It's really sad, and that's honestly why I just don't watch I just stopped watching the news. Like we were talking about social earlier, I don't subscribe anywhere on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it. I get my stuff usually from YouTube videos.
It's weird because like we normally don't watch the news, and then every now and then, like if I'm looking for like weather or whatever, we'll watch the 10 o'clock news. And it takes them forever to get to the weather, so you have to watch all the other stuff in between. And I'm like, oh my God, this is why I don't watch the news, because I don't need to know this.
I don't have like regular TV.
No, we have an antenna.
Oh, okay. I don't have the energy to put one of those up. I'm sure I could do it, but I just haven't bothered. I have a bunch of different streamers, and I use with the Pluto.
Okay.
I use Pluto a lot, but there's nothing live on Pluto.
Yeah, we just have an antenna, to get the local channels, and then we stream everything else.
So we can watch our Jeopardies and whatnot. So I like it. So obviously a packed house.
Yes.
What beyond donations for the roof? What are some needs that you guys are finding right now as far as for the shelter itself?
Right now, we just had quite a bit of food and litter donations come in from the Christmas season. We can always use cat litter. We can always use bleach, Dawn, Pine Sol, Clorox wipes.
And you guys, as far as litter goes, you guys don't do the clumping?
No, we just do the cheap clay cat
right?
litter. And actually, Sam's Club now carries a 52-pound bag, which, but, and it's cheap.
Right.
It's not expensive.
The one that I use, because I just dump it all out also, is the Special Kitty at Walmart, because it's you get like a jug of it for like $7.
Yeah.
So
instead of spending $35, $40 on the scented stuff, we have baking soda that we add into it to help neutralize odors and whatnot. So just cheap plain cat glitter is always the best way to go.
Definitely a need there at the shelter. So if you can help out through litter donations, through monetary donations, absolutely, that would be most appreciated. And stop by the Humane Society. Take a tour around, walk around, and visit some of the pups and the kitties. They could be your forever friend.
You might not be looking for one, and one might grab your heart, and that be that.
That's right. How are we on volunteers?
We actually have a couple of volunteers that have been pretty steady, coming a couple of times a week. One helps us do cleaning, and then one is doing walking.
Okay.
The weather hasn't been bad, but it also hasn't been like great walking weather. Because normally the majority of the time their schedule is like first thing in the morning because they have jobs, so they're trying to work around their jobs, and it's been a little too cold in the mornings.
That's a rough sell.
Yeah. But it's this time of the year, it's normal because, everybody's either getting ready to go back to work from Christmas break or they're going back to wherever. We have a couple of people that they travel down here for the holidays to see family, and they come in and they hang out with us.
Right.
So we have our seasonal volunteers that don't live here.
Which is always nice.
It is.
They're here just long enough for you to not get sick of them.
Yeah.
Some people overstay their welcome. I tend to do that myself. Actually, this year for Christmas, I specifically told my sister, I'm like, I'm not going to do what everybody thinks I'm going to do and hang out way past my welcome. I'm going to hang out until Wednesday. We end up staying until Thursday. But, just get as much family time as we can get in without my kids and me just annoying the bejeepers out of everybody. It felt right. It was the prime amount of time.
Nice.
And just enough time for one fight in the front yard. Just enough.
One fight in the front yard?
One fight in the front yard.
With you and your sister?
I know, it was actually my brother.
That's always fun.
And the rest of the family. Yeah.
Details after radio goes off.
Absolutely. We're not talking about that here. They can listen. So getting back to the Humane Society. We talked about volunteers. Where are we on as far as you were hiring recently? How's that process been going?
She's working out so far.
Okay.
Roswell doesn't have a lot of candidates that really applied, which surprised me. I thought I'd have a lot of people
Sure.
applying, and I really only had like 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I have somebody, she's learning, you know,
Okay.
she's young and willing to learn, and that's the best part, you know, open-minded, willing to learn, and learns pretty quickly.
We just remind you that the views that you express on Mornings with Mike Winters do reflect those of after you get off. It was a long pause, but it's a new thing. It's everybody's feeling the situation
It's
out.
so
She's-
weird
and she's
because
learning.
like we get into our routines and somebody new, like learning about them learning about us. Like I'm just so used to like the way things were, and then I'm like, oh, this is something new. I have to do something new, and I'm like, I'm kind of like a cat in that manner. I don't like new things,
Right.
but then new things aren't always bad. So
But it's a feeling out process.
yes, yeah,
And
that's a nice way to say it. Yes.
And the good news is once things are felt out, once she learns, then it'll be a lot more off your shoulders.
Yes, and learning as time goes by, you get more experience with things. Therefore, it's less of me having to remember that. Oh yeah, she's new. She doesn't know this. So
Yeah, I tend to do that too when I'm training, because I've entered that phase in my life where I'm now teaching the craft to the generation that comes after me, because hopefully there will still be an interest in this business in 10 years. But in that process, I'm like, oh yeah, you don't know how to mix down multi-tracks, huh? Okay, let's step back. I forgot to show you this part. I don't tend to explain in step processes. I tend to be like, did you see what I did there? That doesn't necessarily work so well.
yeah,
You also have to learn someone's learning style. Like, personally speaking, I learned this early in life, thankfully. I am an audio learner. I learn things by hearing them. If I hear them like 60 times, I will know it. That's actually when I was in, I want to say kindergarten or first grade, they made us memorize the preamble to the Constitution. And I recorded myself on tape saying it and listened to that back like 100 times, so that to this day, I still know what it is.
and that's funny. You started at radio with the radio in kindergarten.
Oh,
ironic.
At age 7, so this is a story I've told a couple of times. When I was a 7-year-old, I inherited, because I got all my sister's hand-me-downs. It was an Emerson 2-speaker boombox, dual cassette. But the really, really cool thing about this boombox was there was a microphone built into the speaker. So I started making not just like fake radio tapes. I, in my head, had my own radio station. I called it Shoop 105. I would go on the radio and steal their songs, and I would like time it and do sweepers in between. I would produce my own commercials. At one point, I did a book review of something. And when I was a kid, I wish I still had these tapes. I sounded like Opie from the Andy Griffith Show. I was like, "Do you like books? Well, then I know you like blueberries for Sal." It was.
Oh.
Yeah. I had to drop the regional accent when I moved to New Mexico. But yeah, this was a thing I wanted to do since I was 7. That's
Nice.
I've kind of had that in me for a while.
Nice.
But yeah, so I want to encourage the next generation. So I've kind of started that teaching role. But I'm not a good teacher. I'm a great learner. I'm not a great teacher.
And it's weird because, I'm normally very good at teaching as long as I understand their, means of learning. So one of the first questions I ask is, are you a hands-on learner? Are you a visual learner? Do you need it written out? Do you like to read it? You tell me what helps you. So therefore, I can accommodate how to help you.
Help me help you.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yes, yes.
So, okay, so good. Spots have been filled. And obviously, though, if, keep taking resumes. If, you have a passion for animals, it's something you've wanted to do for a while. If you have experience, maybe drop a resume off and see what happens in the future.
Yeah.
You never know what could happen.
For the thrift shop.
Yes, let's move on over to the store.
Since it is Arctic wind outside, they have a lot of comforters. So if you need some new bedding for your house and you want to change up a little bit, they've got it in all sizes.
I run into the unique problem of having a California king.
So do you know the only difference between a California king and a regular king?
I thought it was the length.
It is so it is 2 inches longer. That's all it is.
Really?
Yeah. I have a California king.
Okay.
Yeah.
So king size stuff technically fits.
Yeah.
Okay. Just not as deeply. That's good to know, because I was gifted a sheet set over the Christmas break that was just a king.
Yeah. So it will fit.
Awesome. Cool.
They have a refrigerator. They have it for $250. It's just a regular upright. The door handle is missing on it. They did clean it exceptionally well. The inside looks brand new. The outside's a little dented and dinged up, but it works great.
And honestly, who needs a handle on your refrigerator? Most of the time, you're just walking up and doing that thing where you put your thumb on the freezer door and you pivot the side.
I have a side-by-side, so I have to use the handle.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Yeah.
And honestly, with today's side-by-sides, that's like unlocking a vacuum handle.
It's not that new of a side-by-side.
They suction shut. Well, I had a friend who had one of those brand new ones.
Yeah, I want one. I want the Samsung smart fridge that you tap, and it opens up so you don't have to open the door to look in. And then I want it to be where I can look on my phone and see the camera and be like, oh, I'm out of milk. I'm at the grocery store.
I'm sorry. That's Alexa clean my butt levels of laziness, okay?
But I like it. I don't want
fun this way.
I don't want some automated thing cleaning my butt. I want automated thing telling me what I don't got in the fridge.
That's right.
That's more important to me.
You're absolutely right. So not the smartest fridge available, but definitely a refrigerator.
It is, and it works really good. They have it plugged in and running, so that way if you want to go check it out, make sure you feel that it's cold enough for whatever you want. It's there. They have a crib to bed.
Oh, okay.
Very nice wood frame, beautiful. 2 32-inch flat screen TVs. They have checked them out. They do work. They have a royalty tea set, and I'm probably not saying it for whatever it's correctly labeled.
Okay.
But when you watch the British TV shows and they're having tea, and they have the tea plates, the tea cups, and then they have
the fancy the metal or
the
tea
pitchers. Well, these are all ceramic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they're hand painted.
So it's a classic tea service.
Yeah. Okay. So they have the entire set marked for $200.
Wow.
And it's a big set. So you've got 2 tea pitchers, and then you've got your cream pitcher, your sugar, everything to have a gigantic tea party.
That's
or
awesome.
Coffee party.
So, but we live in the world of cosplaying. So think about it. Those cosplayers out there that want to have the true British experience.
Right.
Grab yourself that tea service set. Get yourself a few fancy biscuits.
Yeah.
And maybe nice pudding.
Yeah. They have 2 fish tanks.
Okay.
They have a hide-a-bed couch.
Awesome. Always handy if you have family coming in.
Ironically, this caught my eye, and I don't know why because I do not drink wine, but they have a 5-piece wine accessory set.
Really?
So everything you need to open a bottle of wine.
Okay.
And then some.
Nice. Does it come with teeth stained disapproving mother?
No.
Oh, okay. So you have to provide your own. That will not be a problem.
Nope.
Just for the record, that won't be a problem in my family.
Nope.
I can provide that.
They have a lot of arts and crafts stuff. Brushes, the paint brushes, anything from yarn to from crocheting needles. They have a cute, decent sized arts and crafts section.
Awesome.
They have a ton of puzzles. So if anybody is a puzzle person, they have about 50 boxes of 1,000 piece puzzles and smaller.
Question.
What?
Have these been checked?
They are still sealed.
Okay, that answers that question. Because there is nothing on the planet more frustrating
and missing a piece.
Buying a puzzle from a thrift store or from the Salvation Army or Goodwill and getting it almost all the way done. You're missing 3 pieces.
So yeah, the majority of these ones are sealed, never open. And the ones that are open, I do believe that they do go through and check them.
Okay. I just picture you guys have a master puzzle builder in the back. You guys could have another kennel worker.
You know what's easier? Instead of trying to put it together, just count the pieces. Box says 500, count 500.
Yeah, but that's tedious.
I would rather count than try to put the puzzle together.
No, you're absolutely right on that one.
Blankets galore. So regular comforters for beds and then blankets. So some of the blankets they have would be good if you need blankets for your dogs to put in the kennel with them or something so they have something to lay on.
Sure.
That's what those would be good for. A lot of Roswell high school t-shirts where you got to pay $25, $30 for them brand new. They got 4 boxes of them.
Really?
So she's got them marked for $5 a shirt. So that way it saves people money on buying their kids sport or school memorabilia and they're still getting to rock the The school colors.
Absolutely. And remember, it's beyond saving yourself money, because every time you spend money at the Humane Society, you're helping keep their doors open.
Yes. Yes, very much.
Absolutely. So obviously, lots of stuff happening at the Humane Society, full house. So, no more at this point, but let's clear the house so we can let's clear the lot so we can make room for the new arrivals. Again,
Right.
It always bleeds in. Give us the hours.
Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 12 and 1 to 4:30 for the kennels. And then the thrift store is Wednesday through Saturday, 10 to 4:30.
Excellent. And if folks want more information, if they want to
They
find
can
out
call
more
the
about
kennels 622-8950. If they want to make a donation to the thrift store or need stuff picked up, they can call and talk to Camille, or I think Manny does scheduling too.
Okay.
It's 623-9210. We have our website, roswellhumane.org.
And you guys post pictures of the adorable adoptables.
Yeah,
as well.
so everything that is in our shelter is on our website.
Awesome.
If it says not available, that means it is in quarantine for either vaccinations, weight, or we're making sure it doesn't have parvo, distemper, kennel cough, anything like that. And especially with that new respiratory illness coming around, we're keeping a little closer eye.
Oh, is there something coming around? I'm so tired of sickness.
I agree.
I just
it's this new dog respiratory that started off way back east, and it has ventured to New Mexico. We have luckily not had any here in Chavez County.
Right.
But it does not respond to antibiotics. It does not respond to normal treatment that you would typically treat somebody or an animal with a respiratory illness. So it's very, very bad.
That's rough.
It is. So, and the vaccinations that we give for animals to help keep them from getting respiratory infections, this isn't covered in it because it's a completely new development. So they don't even know completely how to treat it quite yet, let alone build a vaccination for it.
It's if you think back to the COVID age, when you watched something spread, how quickly a disease can spread from a couple of cases in a state to now this is a nationwide pandemic.
Right.
So just bear that in mind. What can we do have to wrap soon? But what are some things that people can do meantime to help keep their dogs safe?
Make sure you get them the border televaccinations from your vet. Don't take them to strange places with dogs that you are unfamiliar with. Like if you don't know if they're vaccinated for everything they need to be, don't take your dogs around them. If you're at the dog park, obviously we would love for people to be honest and say, yes, these are my dog's vaccinations, but can't guarantee that they have them. So I'd steer clear from the dog parks for a while. Okay. And just, take them to the park and walk them, exercise them that way, but keep them away from other dogs that you're not 100% sure of their vaccinations.
6 feet apart.
I'd go like 40.
If you will.
But that's me.
There you go. So again, folks want more information, give the Humane Society a call. Check out the website. All the need-to-know info is up there, including, pictures, and you'll fall in love before you even darken the door.
And he was already in love with Einstein, and he only saw a photo.
It was just one photo, doggone it. That little fell on my lap. Well, Ms. Crystal, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We appreciate having you here.
Artesia police continue looking into a shooting incident at a local park last weekend. On Saturday, officers had responded to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Recreation Complex for the report of an unresponsive male subject. Tragically, that man could not be revived. Lupe Hernandez was pronounced dead at the scene. Meanwhile, officers worked the crime scene, and Artesia police say they're still awaiting results of the formal autopsy report. At this point, there's no word on a possible suspect in the case. New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham is proposing a 10% spending increase at the state capitol amid a massive windfall expected from oil and gas production. The extra spending, Grisham says, would shore up affordable housing opportunities, increase child literacy, and health care access. On Thursday, Grisham proposed a $10.5 billion budget plan that would take effect in July. General fund expenditures would be increased by just under $1 billion if the governor's plan is approved. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Picture this. You're in your favorite coffee shop, tapping away on your laptop. Sounds harmless. Far from it. What you don't realize is the person next to you just caught a glimpse of your login details. I'm Kim Commando with tricks to keep your screen private in public. It's called shoulder surfing. With a quick glance at your screen, a nearby stranger can compromise your privacy. It's really effective. Studies find that this kind of hacking is successful about 91% of the time. So how do you protect yourself? Let's start with privacy screen filters. These are thin, attachable films for your devices that obscure your screen. To anyone not directly in front of it, the screen appears dark, keeping sensitive information out of sight. Another thing, if possible, face the wall or a corner to prevent people from easily looking over your shoulder. And don't forget, lock your screen whenever you step away, even if it's just for a minute. On Windows, hit the Windows key and the letter L. On a Mac, it's Command, Control, and Q. Get Tech Smarts the easy way. Sign up at getkim.com. You have a lot of places to get your tech news. I know that. But there's only one website that tells you what the tech news means to you, and that's my site, commando.com. Every day, you'll find breaking tech news, security alerts, along with really useful tips and product reviews. Tens of millions of people just like you visit my site, and I'd love for you to become a regular. I bet you learn one great thing each day at commando.com. And at my site, you also get early access to my USA Today columns, too. And to make things easier on your busy life, sign up for my free newsletters that get delivered right to your inbox. You can pick and choose what you're interested in, whether that's smartphones or smart homes, Windows or Mac. And this way, you only get the know-how that you want. And I'll never, ever send you spam because I value you and your inbox. At commando.com, there are links at the top of the page to get my free newsletters. And also, send me a personal message. Go now while you're thinking about it. That's commando.com, KOMANDO.com.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Looks like the wind will calm down a little bit today with that cold front now through our area. We'll be getting sunshine across the whole area. Afternoon highs in the low to mid 50s. A little bit breezy, wind at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Pretty cold overnight. We'll drop into the upper 20s under clear skies, and then 60 and plenty of sunshine on Saturday. Cooler Sunday, 50 and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. Had a lot of games scheduled for last night originally, but the schedule got shifted around apparently. We do have some scores for you, though. The Goddard Rockets boys played against Taos at the North-South shootout in Taos. Taos is the host school this time, and the Tigers won that 58-41. Goddard will be back in action this afternoon at 1:30 against Belen, which I believe is 5-7 overall. NMMI, meanwhile, takes care of Tatum, no problem, in boys hoops by a score of 53-16. In girls basketball, it was Dexter losing to Jowl by a score of 37-24, and Dexter will be right back in action tonight at Hagerman. You've got the Roswell boys on the road playing at Mayfield tonight. Roswell is 8-7, Mayfield is 4-9 overall. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Rental firm Hertz is selling about 20,000 electric vehicles, including Teslas, from its U.S. fleet, about 2 years after a deal with the automaker to offer its vehicles for rent. In another sign that electric vehicle demand has cooled. Hertz will instead opt for gas-powered vehicles, it said on Thursday. Hertz is also getting rid of electric Chevys and BMWs. More travelers are checking the model of their aircraft before booking flights after a mid-air cabin blowout forced a new Alaska Airlines operated Boeing jet to make an emergency landing and grounded more than 170 planes. The Washington State Attorney General is planning to file a lawsuit to block supermarket chain Kroger's proposed acquisition of smaller rival Albertsons. U.S. regulators are also deciding whether to block the billion-dollar deal. Several other state attorneys general have signaled they might sue to halt the deal as well. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Foot and ankle problems are often agonizing, but they don't have to be. At Artesia General Hospital, we're passionate about helping every patient return to optimal mobility with confidence and comfort. Our board-certified podiatrists, Dr. Jennifer Chow and Dr. Michael Krupa, provide a full spectrum of services ranging from routine foot care and pain relief to customized treatment plans and leading-edge surgeries. Visit artesiageneral.com/foot care to request your appointment today.
At one point, when Jesus was teaching the crowds, a rich young ruler approached him and asked how he could inherit eternal life. Jesus told him to follow all the commandments, which the young man had done. Then Jesus took it a bit further and told the young man to give up all he had and follow him. He knew the young man was holding on to something. The man walked away dejected, knowing he wasn't willing to give up everything. In a poem titled Treasures by Martha Snell Nicholson, she writes these words: "One by one he took them all from me, all the things I valued most, until I was empty-handed. Every glittering toy was lost, and I walked earth's highways, grieving. In my rags and poverty till I heard his voice inviting, 'Lift your empty hands to me.' So I held my hands toward heaven, and he filled them with a store of his own transcendent riches, till they could contain no more. And at last I comprehended, with my stupid mind and dull, that God could not pour his riches into hands already full."
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Fall time is almost here, and the holidays will be here before you know it. The Calico Cow invites you to move on into the cow and check out the new holiday fabrics arriving daily, and take advantage of a huge sale on Brothers sewing machines now through the end of the year. Get free lessons, maintenance, and a first-year cleaning included. Fall into savings at the Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop, now at their new location, 200 East College in Roswell. Want to know how? Come see the cow.
So you think drinking alcohol can't hurt you? It'll mess you up big time. Say adios to large chunks of your brain. Major damage is already being done. Other parts of your body are getting wrecked too. Forget about sports, forget about school, forget about doing much of anything. Underage drinking freaks out your body, messes up your life.
Sponsored by the NMDOT.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. You burn more calories sleeping than you do watching television. For the ultimate workout, fall asleep in front of the TV. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, everybody. Mike Winters here with you. This is me. Sorry about that. If you're just tuning in, I haven't got my voice back yet, but I feel fine. So I don't, my head, everything, I just have zero voice. So my apologies here, but Sean's under the weather, so this is the best we can muster this morning. I do want to let folks know that we got a couple of dances coming up here this weekend and next weekend here on January 13th. The fabulous Aces and Eights will be performing at the Westminster Presbyterian Church in their fellowship hall here on January 13th from 6 to 9 p.m. Admission is just $5 per person. They're going to serve a meal. And then on January 20th, Cibolo Springs will be at the event. We'll be doing the dance, again, from 6 to 9 p.m. Also at Westminster Presbyterian Church from 6 to 9 p.m. If you have any questions, you can contact Tom Blake at 575-420-3434. Also, the city of Roswell will be having their Back to the 80s skate and dance, or no skating, just dancing. That's up to you. But it's going to be happening Friday, January 19th, and it's going to be at the Roswell Adult Center at 807 North Missouri. $5 per participant. Must be ages 18 and up. 80s themed. Come and enjoy skating and dancing, or just hanging out and socializing. It's going to be a lot of fun, gnarly 80s tubular stuff. So you can go to RoswellConnect.com to learn more information. And again, it's going to be at the Roswell Adult Center at 807 North Missouri on January 19th, 7 to 10 p.m. Cost is $5 per participant, and it is ages 18 up. It's the adult night. Leave the kids, get a sitter, and come make it a date night or a friend night, something like that. But January 19th, get your skate on, and they better play some Def Leppard. That's the official Pour Some Sugar on Me's official skate song of 80s skating, particularly for all guys skate. So, but anyway, they better do that. But that'll be on the 19th. All right, it is close to now on 8 o'clock. Town Hall News is next. We'll be back.
Talk Radio has landed on the all-new 106.5 FM KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. The U.S. and British militaries have bombed multiple sites in Yemen.
In a statement, President Biden says the strikes were meant to demonstrate that the U.S. and its allies will not tolerate attacks by Houthi militants on ships in the Red Sea. The U.S. Air Force's Mideast Command says it struck over 60 targets at 16 sites. It was the first U.S. military response to drone and missile attacks on commercial ships since the start of the Israel-Hamas war. Houthi rebels have carried out 27 attacks involving dozens of drones and missiles since November 19th.
The reason for last night's action was self-defense.
Talking to Sky News, UK Defense Minister James Heapy notes that 2 nights ago, British and American Navy ships suffered attacks as well. In reaction from Yemen, a Houthi military spokesman vowed retaliation. Jennifer King, Washington.
The military strike came as questions still swirl around Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's failure to disclose his cancer surgery and hospitalization in a timely manner. Military affairs analyst, retired Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis, tells the Salem Radio Network he's not alone in his belief that Austin should step down.
If you were to do a survey of the senior leadership of the armed forces, that you would find that that's a similar view. This is a stark world, a dangerous world. Our enemies are empowered by this, and Lloyd Austin should resign, if not be fired.
President Biden's son appeared in federal court in Los Angeles yesterday.
Hunter Biden told the judge he was not guilty on 9 counts of tax offenses. If convicted of all the charges, Biden could face 17 years in prison.
Correspondent Jackie Quinn. Wholesale inflation fell in December. The government's Producer Price Index, which tracks inflation before it reaches consumers, declined 0.1%. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Urgent Camp Lejeune settlement
message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Sued by 6 students over what they say is rampant anti-Semitism on campus.
The suit was filed by the group Students Against Anti-Semitism, along with Alexander Kastenbaum and 5 other anonymous students. The plaintiffs say by allowing anti-Semitism to spread on campus and by failing to enforce its own anti-harassment policy, Harvard is interfering with their ability to learn. The school's former president, Claudine Gay, recently resigned over remarks she made during a House hearing on anti-Semitism. Bob Agnew reporting.
A U.S. Navy helicopter crashed into San Diego Bay during a training exercise. It happened early last evening. Authorities say all 6 crew members survived. The military not aware of any critical or life-threatening injuries. Inflation crept higher in December, up 0.0%, led by higher energy, food, and housing prices. News and analysis at townhall.com. Mississippi's capital city is under a boil water order because of bacterial contamination. Correspondent Norman Hall reports.
State health officials have told Jackson residents to boil their tap water after traces of E. coli bacteria were found in the city's supply. But the manager of Jackson's long-troubled water system disputes the findings while calling it a devastating setback for rebuilding public trust. The notice is also imposed in the suburb of Flowood. The order comes days before the expected arrival of a blast of cold weather that could further disrupt the local water infrastructure. I'm Norman Hall.
A second avalanche has been reported at a California resort near Lake Tahoe, one day after a major avalanche trapped several people and killed a 66-year-old man. Nobody was hurt in yesterday's snowslide. It happened at Alpine Meadows. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The traveler said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
Good morning, everybody. Let me pot this down a little bit. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Mike Winters here. It is me. I know I could be anybody right now based on this voice, but it is me. I am Mike Winters. Happy Friday, everybody. I am still, I have no voice. I feel good. My head's fine. I don't feel sick other than, I can't talk. I sound like some guy that's meeting in the alley for a shady affair. But I feel okay. I don't feel achy. I don't feel sick. All of that's past. I've got through all that. I just have no voice, and this is about the best I've got right here. I can't. And I can't. If I try to project anything, it's just air. It doesn't really. I have to. So I apologize. I'll get through this, but. Unfortunately, our buddy Sean's under the weather now, so he's getting better. So I'm here trying to do a voice here. So good morning, happy Friday. Hope you're having an amazing Friday. I do want to take a moment to thank the fine folks at McDonald's as they do each and every single Friday, or provide us delicious breakfast treats, and they've done so again this morning. Not so much on eating, but I've been copious amounts of hot liquids and some iced tea in between, and water to. I got to be honest, I may have to pause mid-show to go potty break because. I'm on my, it's 8 in the morning. I'm on my, fourth cup of hot beverage. And I've polished off about a half of iced tea and half a thing of water, too. So at some point, my eyeball's going to be floating here. But I'm trying to stay lubricated here for the voice. A big thank you to McDonald's. Visit any of your McDonald's here. They've got you covered. Don't forget to download the McDonald's app. With that, you can order and have it delivered to your home or business. You could have it where you pick it up through drive-through and then you just roll up. It's a baller VIP move because what you do is when you order through the app, and then it'll ask if you want to pick it up, and you select the McDonald's nearest you to pick it up, and then through the drive-through, and then they'll give you a 4-digit code, and when you roll up to the drive-through, they just say, hey, I got a mobile order. They'll say, hey, what's your code? You give them that code, and then they're like, hi, Mike, or your name in this particular instance, welcome back, and all that good stuff. So definitely, it's pretty nice, and then it speeds up the process of getting everything through there too. So definitely worth the move there. So, but big thank you to McDonald's for sponsoring the show each and every Friday here. Let's see, it is 10 minutes after 8 o'clock. I know we got Sheriff Mike Harrington's going to be joining us this hour. I think we may also have Caitlin Turner with the Roswell Public Library joining us this hour as well. I know one of our guests are here. Trust me, I'm going to let them try to do most of the talking, and I'll just kind of, so what's going on, Sheriff? What's going on, Caitlin? And kind of let them talk, and I'll try to keep my Oscar the Grouch voice on a limited basis on this one here. So, hey, Charles, how you doing today? So, there's the undersheriff. Cool. It is 10 minutes after 8 o'clock, closing on 11 minutes. Let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Looks like the wind will calm down a little bit today with that cold front now through our area. We'll be getting sunshine across the whole area. Afternoon highs in the low to mid 50s. A little bit breezy, wind at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Pretty cold overnight. We'll drop into the upper 20s under clear skies, and then 60 and plenty of sunshine on Saturday. Cooler Sunday, 50 and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 26 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 38%. Winds currently out of the south at 3 miles per hour. For today, we are looking at sunny skies. Expect highs in the low 50s. 53 officially with winds out of the west, about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight. Looking at an overnight low of 26 degrees. Winds out of the west of 5 to 10 miles per hour. For Saturday night, partly cloudy, overnight low of 22. Winds will be out of the northeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday, partly cloudy and looking at a high of 37 degrees. Winds out of the southeast, 10 to 15 miles per hour. For your Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Monday, sunny skies. Expect a high of 41 degrees there. Just kind of glancing next week. Monday night, I'm seeing a overnight low of a single digit. That's not good. Mostly cloudy, 9 for an overnight low. So it's pretty bad when Gordie Howe is, or was he 8? I think he was 9. Gordie Howe, that was his number. If that's the weather, it's not good. But looks like we're going to be freezing 36 Tuesday. We'll be back up near 60, fortunately, by Wednesday, Thursday of next week there. So but man, 9. That's not going to be good. All right, it is 13 minutes after 8. We're going to take a 2.5-minute commercial break. I think Charles Eastless is here. So we'll let him chat for a bit. We'll do more. He'll let him do more of the chatting. And we'll also, I think, Kaylin from the library may join us as well, so we'll bring her in later on the hour. But let's take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back on the other side. It is me. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters. Believe it or not, we'll be back.
Asian Market brings the flavors of the East to Roswell. The market side has lots of new and different items, including new sauces and noodles to enhance your Asian dishes, plus new snacks and more. And the restaurant inside Asian Market has all Nook's favorites from 11 to 5, like wontons, egg drop, rice or noodle soup, crispy calamari, and the best barbecue fried rice in town. Dine in or call ahead for easy pickup. And find Asian Market on Facebook for updates on open times and specials.
Hi, this is Nok. Come see me at Asian Market, 5702 South Main in Roswell. Call 575-840-5309.
You've heard of a Four Seasons room, but have you heard of a Four Seasons window? Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing and Windows. It might surprise you to learn many windows are built to handle only the cold or only the heat, but not both. In Southeast New Mexico, one or the other doesn't cut it. That's why Trustmark windows are built to handle our Four Seasons climate, the scorching summers, the bone-chilling winters, and everything in between. Special glass coating blocks extreme UV rays A stout frame prevents warping from the extreme weather changes, and insulated glass is like putting your home in a giant styrofoam cooler in the winter and keeps cold out and warmth in. And in the summer, it keeps heat out and cool in. For our 4 seasons weather, get 4 Seasons Windows. Call today for your no-obligation spring window assessment, 575-755-7663, or visit TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Have you ever had someone do something kind and out of the ordinary for you? How did that make you feel? I know for me, it brightens my day. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for the Joy of Marriage.
Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not get tired of doing what's right, for after a while we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't get discouraged and give up." I've learned when you don't know what to do, just do the next right thing. Keep sowing good things into your spouse and your family. Be patient. God promises He will give you a harvest. It will make a difference. A successful farmer just keeps on working and expects to have a great harvest.
I know when my husband brings me flowers, it blesses me. So do something unexpected for your spouse. It will pay off.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. A group of 12 or more cows is called a flink. If you have only 11 cows, that's called a lot of cow pies. Here's Mike Winters.
You don't have a math number for that one. Good morning. It is 16 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Chaffetz County Sheriff's Department, it's me, trust me. Give me your money, see? Just kidding. Oh, I got to do this for my wife. Bees. There's a line from a movie that sounds like the guy with the wind. Anyway. Joining us from the Chaffetz County Sheriff's Department is Under Sheriff Charles Eastless and Lieutenant Drake with us. Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Hopefully you sound a little better than I do. And
well, I wish my voice would do that. Just stay low, though.
Stay low.
Not so much with all the things that come with it.
Well, if I can make it just come out effortlessly, like it didn't have to push, won't be so bad. Because I think I could attract a certain level of people with this voice.
That's your Wolfman Jack voice.
Yeah. So, but first off, how's the department doing? You guys keep busy, I know.
Doing very well.
No rest for you guys ever, so.
Not at all. We're doing very well. We're getting geared up for legislation coming up. The sheriff and I will be up there next week. But as far as the department goes with the holidays, everything went over without a hitch. You know, we did have the normal calls as usual, but it seemed like this year it for some reason it just wasn't as busy. It wasn't as I don't want to use the word festive, but it just wasn't quite. It seemed more
low-key.
Business. It was very low key. It seemed more business. Knock on wood, exactly as usual.
Knock on wood. Low key is okay with me,
right.
you know.
Yeah. So it was. It just came and went, and it was. I think the weather has a lot to do with that. It didn't really, when it's 60 degrees on Christmas, it doesn't really feel like it. Looks like we're getting the brunt of it now. But
I say now, maybe we'll start putting up Christmas trees, and then we'll see if things go up a tick. Now there we go.
We're not wishing for anything,
right? But now the weather's starting to match the season. But as far as that legislative side goes, I mean, obviously yourself and the sheriff, this is where you guys kind of change your hats a little bit, where your day-to-day of, hey, talking to the public, doing, because by the way, the sheriff and the undersheriff, they're working shifts too. It's not like they sit in the office all day and say, right. Give me coffee and give me my stack of I-19 whatever's to fill out. They're out there in the public, engaged. But this next month, you're going to probably between the two of you guys are going to take a much less role there. Kind of talk about how your hat changes when we do flip to this legislative session.
When we'll leave this next week, and when that happens, we're following a lot of different bills right now. Some of them are additional gun bills, things like that. There are some things in legislation right now, some other laws that they're wanting to pass that we're really scrutinizing and taking a close look at. So, we're in and out of Roswell pretty regularly during the session. I have this is my administrative lieutenant, and so he unfortunately catches where I am with the sheriff. He is with me, and so it just kind of filters down, and he's tall enough that he catches it. Unfortunately, so
Lieutenant, you're kind of assigned to serve as almost kind of the under sheriff while they're up in Santa Fe, so to speak.
Yes.
Gotcha. So is that like, because as an lieutenant, you've already got a full workload of your own duties and things like that. How much does that, is it just a matter of everyone picks up slack kind of thing? Or?
Yeah, it just kind of adds a little bit more fire to the campfire. So
Sure. And I'm going to guess this is where you want to work with your younger deputies, and you're like, okay, guys, we're always here to mentor and do our thing, but this is the time where you got to put on your A game,
right?
Because we may not be there to kind of negotiate your way through some of these sticky wickets sometimes.
Exactly.
And we got a good group of guys, so as far as managing them, it's minimal, so I can focus on all the paperwork and all that stuff that we got to get done.
Sure. Now, do you guys get a lot of seat time with legislators, really kind of bending ears, or is it more schmoozy kind of stuff?
It's more passing. In passing, in the past we have had some actually sit down time. We go up and we have one of our meetings, which is the Sheriff's Association, New Mexico Sheriff's Association, and then of course this is New Mexico counties, 33 counties strong, and so we have different classes, different meetings that we go to. But as far as one-on-one with the legislators, we don't. There's very little time that our schedules mesh, and a lot of times,
especially in a 30-day message.
Right. The 30-day goes quick. It's like lightning, and so we're trying to keep up with everything. That's a chore in itself, and then we're trying to stay up as late as possible because some of these bills are heard at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. So it's really it's a cat and mouse game, to be very honest with you. We lost some folks that were instrumental for us up in that area, but we have people, Greg Nybert and
kind of shifting
Ken
positions here a little bit,
things like that. People like that are 100% behind us, and we're 100% behind them, and so it allows us to focus on that. And it's something that my job as the undersheriff is to run the day-to-day operations, so I oversee everything, and it allows me to give that to him and the other lieutenants, and I have full faith in them. If I didn't, they wouldn't be lieutenants. And there comes a time when you have to say, here you go, I have full faith in you. And it's happened to all of us where, hey, I want you to do this. Oh, okay, let me, and it's out of habit. We want to put our hands in and continue to do it.
Sure.
But we have to just let it go and let it be. And
when you guys get to that level,
sure,
as lieutenant, as undersheriff, you still love the day-to-day of the job, but
absolutely.
But you also start getting this mentor role and this, you're grooming the next generation of you guys.
Yes.
And so that takes a bigger meaning to you,
right?
For you guys especially. And so, when everything that happens to these guys, you take it as that affects me because these are my people.
Sure. And in this job, in this business, it's a very different business in that if something happens to one of us, we're going to grieve you today. We're going to grieve you the day that of the departure or the funeral or whatnot. But the business has to go on.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens is I want everybody cross-trained. I want everybody cross-trained. I as the undersheriff running the day-to-day operations, I've worked every area within the sheriff's office. So I have experience in all those different areas. So I can run those. I can step in and run those and oversee them as I do. Well, the same with the lieutenants. I want each lieutenant to work each other's jobs, which they do, and everybody's cross-trained so that the business continues. Because,
sure,
like I said, unfortunately, if something happened to me today, the business has to continue tomorrow. That's the business that we're in.
Well, exactly. This is when we talk about the line and the sand and the
that's right.
thin blue line is, look, your bakery, no one shows up. Worst case worse is no clothes, no buttons today.
Right.
At at law enforcement.
Sure.
People die. Things happen. So something has to happen if the person that normally doesn't isn't there to do that.
Right.
So.
Or if they get sick or something like that, that's where you see the lieutenants and I out doing patrol and taking calls and things like that, and the sheriff as well, because the job is and our goal is the service of the public. And the one thing that I don't want to happen is I don't want the public to suffer because we are suffering. And what I mean by that is if we are shorthanded, we will find the means to serve the public. We have, that's our first and foremost.
Sure.
Is the paperwork. I understand the paperwork side, obviously, and there's a lot of paperwork that I have to do, but it's never too much if somebody comes in and says, hey, I need to speak to you for a minute. I'm not signing, the nuclear release of weapons,
right.
anything like that.
Absolutely.
It's nothing that I can't set aside and talk to them and give them the time.
Give them 10 minutes or whatever. Yeah.
It's that's what we strive to teach the younger generation and pass on to our younger generation that we have.
And that's part of the psychology of being a law enforcement officer. Right. And this is something I wish we taught all humans in class and things like that. It's, when you guys are out doing your job and you come in, because let's face it, 99.9% of the time when you roll up on a situation, there's people high in state, emotionally charged up. It's just, some handle it better than others, but everyone's up there.
Adrenaline is usually going.
Yeah. And so sometimes you guys walking in and just let them pop off, blow a little steam, keep them from hurting, obviously, but just let them vent. And once that happens, you start talking to them rationally, and we've worked this out. And that's kind of what not to that same level, but from the other side too, that's using that same technique, that same mindset. And I wish if all humans had that a little bit, you guys probably wouldn't be so busy.
One of the things, some people we're a people person job, and some people are public speakers and some are not. Some are very good at one-on-one speaking. Some aren't very good at any speaking.
Right.
But one of the things that I push and that he's real good at, and all the department as far as that's concerned, is public speaking. I believe they should spend as much time learning or public speaking or learning how to speak as they do the tactics. And the reason for that is getting to my age, we all want to run and gun and do all the fun stuff and everything, and now I would much rather talk about it and instead of eat some ibuprofen for the next 2 weeks, and it's no longer it becomes use the stronger muscle.
I can't speak for the female brain all the time, but I can speak for the male brain.
That's why women live longer than men.
And we hit my beer moment. All of us hit those. And in law enforcement, it's like, I can do that Herculean fence climb, no problem, or whatever it is.
And when we're teaching this younger generation, it's kind of like, and I don't mean this in any way, but it's kind of like teaching a younger child in that, don't touch that, it's hot. Don't touch that, it's hot.
Right.
Okay, go ahead. See, it's hot. So, sometimes that has to happen. Well, the same holds true with when we tell them, when they say, well, why can't we do that? Listen, I've been there, I understand, but you can't do that. Well, I don't know. Listen, you see that policy? That policy, I was part of the creation of that policy, or whatever the case may be. So therefore, you can't do that.
Sure.
We're speaking from experience, and we're trying to navigate them into a stream of less punishment or less hurt, and things like that.
Well, this is
more success.
And this is that old teaching young, universal thing where when we're young, and we get young people weak because we were all you once.
Sure.
And we know the mindset. We know that, yes, you feel indestructible. You feel, I got this. I'm in control. But you can't always see the forest from the trees.
Right.
And with wisdom, you start seeing the forest when you're in the trees because you've been in the forest long enough to know what trees are there.
Right.
And that's what we try to tell you, and it's really hard for you to understand that from your perspective. You're going to have to run through the woods sometimes and then figure it out. But we just want to warn you, hey, before you get really bit,
there's a cliff on that other side.
take a look, walk, don't run through the woods, and let's, be careful for booby traps.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of in a nutshell what the big life lesson that we tell our, old versus young here, you know. And so it's no different in
we're
your.
a paramilitary style organization.
Yeah.
We're teaching the person behind us to pick up our slack and pick up our gear and continue forward.
Sure.
And that's the goal.
Well, and then when you guys get in the line of work that you do, it takes a certain mental mindset to do that. And when you find individuals that can handle that and navigate that, you want to foster and garnish that, because let's face it, I'm going to say a majority of our population probably are not cut out to be law enforcement officials. That's just.
Or teachers, or, everyone has their forte.
Yeah. But those that do, that have the heart, that have the ability to compartmentalize dark from light and stay clear in the moment, that is a gift that humans that possess it, we want to foster that, because they truly make the best in what law enforcement people do. And that's what we want with a perfect law enforcement
I'd
person.
much rather do this side than I'll tell you who in my opinion is probation and parole. They have to deal with, when we deal with the criminal element, we deal with them, we arrest them, put them in jail, and through the system they go. When they get out and they're on probation or parole, that's a rough job, because they're and I'm not going to use the term babysit, because they're adults, and I'm not diminishing anything they do. I'm giving them full compliment, because that's something that I just wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to follow this person around and make sure that they're stop doing that, be where you're supposed to be, come here. It's exhausting.
Well, we're all put on this earth. We're all raised a certain way, based on where we're born, where we're cultured, with our family. We all come from, and
right.
So when we grow up, we're kind of in our lanes.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And when you get into a profession like yourself, where you're seeing everybody outside your lane, and then you realize, wow, some people's lanes are way different than my lane, and see, it's hard to process, especially when you're like, I have no concept of what this person's doing, because that just doesn't seem, some of the heinous stuff side, but because of the life and what they've seen, experience, and that's where you guys have to have that ability to take that, and that's why
take what you need and leave what you don't.
And that's why, quite frankly, I think what you guys have is the hardest in the world, because
it's a renaissance.
You've got to be that calm mind in a sea of hot garbage and mess. And
be a police officer, be a counselor, be a
and no matter how right you do it, someone's going to say you didn't do it right.
They're always going to, exactly, and you can't always make everyone happy. And the goal, this is what I tell people: the goal is not to make everybody happy. The goal is to make everybody safe and make sure that everything is okay. Not everybody's going to be okay with the outcome, as long as everyone is alive, safe, no injuries, things like that. You can't give two people first place. This isn't the Ricky Bobby world where if you ain't first, you're last. There has to be, in checkers, there has to be, for example, someone wins and someone loses.
Yeah.
Well, it may not be the outcome, but a lot of times it's give and take. And so we find ourselves becoming mediators. Mediators.
It's a space peanut.
Here we are. We're running through space. But we find ourselves being mediators and counselors and things like that. And it's when we make a decision, especially at this level, when we make a decision, there are people that just get in an uproar real fast when we put pen to paper, and without allowing us the time to explain, this is why, because there are liabilities on this side, or there's this going on, or this is the big picture down at the end.
Yeah.
And
you only see what's in your lane.
Right. They immediately they did this or this decision was made and it's personal. No, it's not. It's you have to look at the totality of everything around it, whether it's liability, no matter what it is.
Well, at the end of the day, your job is to preserve and protect the public. Everyone is the public.
That's right.
Like you said, it's not win or loss. To be honest, in your world, in this world, win-loss is did everybody live tonight? Right. Did everybody go home tonight? That's right. Yeah, we may have had a fight, but is everybody still?
Upset, but they went home.
And you know what? Time will heal the other things. Tonight, everybody lived. That's a victory. Mm-hmm. And that's how you guys live, and that's your world. And yeah, someone may have spent the night in jail. Someone may have had to sleep one off in the tank. Someone may have someone may have had to get sent to their mom's house. Yeah. Whatever that is, so be it. But those feelings will get over. We can work that out. Everyone gets to wake up tomorrow and decide what they want to have for breakfast.
That's right.
That's the end game here for you guys. And that's
what we tell most people that we deal with. We're like, separate. I know tempers are high right now. But tomorrow it's a new day.
Yeah.
And most of the time, know how to go back.
It's one thing if we're dealing with black and white laws that say, okay, you broke into this, you stole this, you violated this, we arrest you for this.
The letter of the law.
Yeah, that's the simple part of being a police officer. Yeah. It's when you have to fight at 2 a.m, where technically no one's broken a law other than being mad at each other. But when they get to the point where they're so mad they're punching, and that's when the laws are being broken.
Right.
That's where your guys, we're just trying to get everybody to not break a law right now. And, you guys are at that point not cops, but your counselors, your referees, your people that are just trying to keep everybody from not going complete chaos. And then you sort out the aftermath afterwards. And that's the part that if we can get the public to understand is, look, I know they're going to go crazy, but for the rest of us, help the officers be a part of the de-escalation process.
And that's what most of our situations we go to. Yeah, we may take some people to jail, but most of the time we show up and we talk to both parties. Just talking to them, it resolves it.
Sure.
So,
allowing them to vent. And when we're teaching these I call them kids because they're less than half my age, and they make me feel my age when we hire. Whenever I have an applicant whose birth date is further than when I graduated, I sit there and I have my old moment, and then all of a sudden everything hurts for a second. My feelings, my back, my everything, and I'm like, I'm getting old. But what we're trying to teach them, and I give them we teach them what the letter of the law is and the spirit of the law.
Right.
And so I use a little story. I tell them, okay, I want you to imagine a lake, and there's a fence around it, and on that fence says absolutely no trespassing. And along comes somebody, a teenager or whatever the case may be, and sees a little kid in there drowning. No, for however the child got in there, it doesn't matter. This person jumps the fence. Do they follow what that says and allow that person to drown, or do they jump the fence and save them? I said, that's where your spirit of the law comes in. I said, yes, you technically broke the letter of the law, but why did you do it? It's kind of like not having your registration on the vehicle. If you're behind on your job or something, or you're about to start a new job, and I give you a citation for, $200-300, my goal is to get you to register your vehicle. It's not to give you a citation. So maybe that's the time when I say park it. This one,
sure.
I'm gonna let slide. I'm gonna watch the vehicle for a while. I'm gonna come back and check with you in a couple of weeks or whatnot, and make sure that it's registered. The end goal is what we're, it right then may not be what everybody wants,
right?
But you have to look. You have your. It's just like short term, long term, and your medium term goals. We have to look further down. We look in terms of years now. What's the department going to be when we're all gone? And I mean gone off this earth. Where do we want to leave? It's not about leaving a picture on the wall.
Sure.
It's about leaving something that betters the department.
Absolutely.
And that's what it's about.
Well, and it's kind of getting back to the role of your it's you have this job where you got to carry a big stick.
You do.
But you got to carry a big blanket too.
That's right.
And that's it. And that's where
For the swats and the pillows.
it's like,
and the
is it time for the
tears.
stick? Is it time for the blanket? And that's what makes your job. So, but that's what makes it. I'm going to say it's probably the most rewarding part, because I'm going to guess, because you guys.
When you see it all come together.
Yeah, but then there's the night where the baby was born in the car, or the lost child was found, or the the winning moment. That's
when it doesn't end in tragedy.
Yeah, and so that's where the job is a beautiful thing, and that's why there's a certain breed that can do this job, but I always want to encourage the people that have that desire to embrace it and run with it, because quite frankly, you guys are, and this is globally, this isn't just here in Chaffetz County. Law enforcement numbers are down.
They are.
We need the next generations of people to
There's
be.
not one department that is full that I'm aware of.
Yeah, and so we need those carers, those givers, to learn, and to be honest, to be the next generation to help you guys do it better, to help you guys understand more as our doctors, and that start picking out our melons a little bit better here. Then you guys can adapt and change your trainings to match what they're learning.
Our goal is to build that foundation. Now, the younger generation, they can build whatever structures, they're building all kinds of weird looking things nowadays, so to speak, in terms of analogies. We're just the old fashioned foundation builders. And that's what we're trying to do, build a good foundation so that the younger generation, when they come along, they can build whatever they're going to build on it, but the foundation is strong enough to hold it. And that's the goal. And this is my 24th year in law enforcement, and I've wanted to do nothing but this job my whole life. I didn't want to do anything else. My dad was an educator, a principal, and he wanted me to be a teacher or a coach. He said, "You're off by 3 o'clock. You wear shorts to work. It's a great job." And I said, and there's days when I think to myself, gosh, I could have kicked the ball around with kids.
I bet there's a 2 a.m. You're like, I could be in them bike shorts right now.
Yeah. But and I'm dating myself now as far as age, from the Ponch and John and the Andy Griffith days and all those. I've wanted to be a police officer my whole life, and I'm very fortunate in that I knew what I wanted to do, and I chased that, and I achieved that. A lot of people, they don't get that opportunity, and so I'm very fortunate, and I embrace it. And we all do dumb things, We have that rookie moment, and then we have that uh-oh moment, and then you have that aha moment, where you start to what I call graduate out of being doing dumb things and decisions, and you get into the adult, and then you get into what I would say my level is oh Lord. And what I mean by that is when I go home at night, all my goal, I just want every one of my guys to go home.
Yeah.
I tell them, I say, I don't ever want to show up at your house and tell them you're not coming back.
Yeah, you don't want to knock on doors to talk to spouses. That's yeah.
And so it's and that is pushed down through the lieutenants. Lieutenants push it down through the sergeants. Sergeants enforce it. But I'll tell you, I couldn't do this job without him doing this job. And it's not a there's not a one person on this team.
Sure.
It's you have the faces of the department, but it's a department. It is and
what you guys do rubs off on the younger deputies here, and kind of when you were talking about you couldn't picture yourself doing anything else, and just from my own seeing of you and the sheriff and how you interact when you're just Charles and Mike.
I'm always just Charles.
You know what I mean?
That's what I tell people. Yeah.
And that's what I think also makes you guys, and I'm sure with you guys as well, good law enforcement officers, because I've seen it. Now I get it sometimes at this level. People are like, it's the sheriff, it's the undersheriff. I want to talk to them because there's where the buck stops.
Right.
But before those titles were upon you guys, and before all of that, people just talk to you.
Sure.
Like you're wearing the badge, you're wearing the uniform, you're sitting at Starbucks, you're sitting in McDonald's, you're sitting at the fair, wherever. Right. and people, all walks of life, homeless, to the two county commissioners and the most influential of the county,
Sure.
are just, hey Charles, hey Mike, I got, just and I think that's the ability that what makes you guys and the, you know what I mean, to say, okay, that's how we solve the problems. Like, this is why this didn't de-escalate, because Charles or one of your lieutenants has sat there and just talked with people like we're hanging out in a guy's living room. And that's,
Slow it down a little bit.
You don't realize how much disaster can be diverted from just a simple, hey bud, how you doing?
Exactly.
And that's and
And
that's
we're
what
human just like them.
Sure.
yeah. And when people see that from you guys, I think it takes them aback. They're like, oh crap, they got problems too.
Sure.
Dang, all right, hold on.
And I tell people all the time, they say, hey, undersheriff. I said, no, I'm Charles. And they say, well, you're the undersheriff. I said, that's what I do. I said, that's my responsibility. That doesn't define who I am.
Yeah.
Titles come and go. You will always, this is what I teach the younger generation. You will always be you. Titles don't make you you. You make that title what that title is. The title doesn't define you. And you see in all areas of business, in different types of careers, where without that title, people just don't know what to do.
Right.
They fall apart, or they just once they're done with that, you make the title what it is. The title does not define who you are. I'm Charles. When they come in and they sit down, they say, hey, undersheriff. I said, please call me Charles. Tell me what's going on, because they are a friend to me. I may have just met them, but they're going to leave. I want them to leave an acquaintance, a friend.
Sure.
Not, I understand this is business.
Not intimidated or
right.
feeling
but
Gestapo'd or something. Yeah.
Sure, but
I have to say I'm Charles number 2. So
yeah, and our other lieutenant, his middle name is Charles, and so I just have to remind them that the Charles in charge is not really. they like to watch Charles in charge, and they're like, hey, and I said, no, turn it off.
We call Lieutenant Bayo.
Yeah. But it's important, and I'm very proud of everybody in the department. Everybody has a responsibility and a duty, and without all those getting done, they know that they know what the title is.
Absolutely.
But they also know what the job is. And sometimes it's time to put on that hat and do the job, and then sometimes it's time to present the title. But the title is only what you make it out to be. It doesn't define who you are.
But I think, and what you're right, but also it gives the title the credence.
Right.
Whereas, yes, it's, you're the position president. And so you say, okay, president, that's supposed to garner a certain amount of respect. But we all know as much as anybody else, we respect the person that puts the title,
react to that
puts their passion. Yeah.
And so if they say, hey, you know what, we're going to have a talk today, by the undersheriff's going to do a talk, or Lieutenant Drake's going to do a talk, I would much rather, and I hope that they're like, oh, cool, great, I know him, or yeah, he's funny, or whatever the case may be. You've made that title what it is, or you've made that title, oh crap,
sure,
oh we're going to listen to this guy and this guy, so whatever that title is, you define the title. And that's what I explained to them. The title doesn't define you. You define that title. And you either what do you want people to do when they hear that you're coming? Not see you coming, but they hear that you're coming. Do you want them to be excited and welcoming, or do you want them to be cringing and
cockroaches?
Exactly, yeah. And so
turn the lights on, scatter.
How they react to that is on you.
Right.
And what you put into it. And it's just, if I tell them in the interviews, if you're not a people person, I thank you for coming in. This probably isn't the job for you. Thank you for being honest. But if you're a people person, it makes this job so much better.
Absolutely.
And it's just, it's about people. I would, there's times when everybody gets upset and says, oh man, I could definitely be the last man on earth, and all this other stuff. But the reality is I'd be talking to the trees. I'd be losing my mind.
It would be fun for about 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And then it get old real quick, I saw the TV show, and that's about what
did
happened
too, yeah.
in the TV show too. About 5 days
Look at all
in.
this money I have.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to spend it.
Yeah, but there's only so many movies to watch.
That's right.
The food's gonna go bad after a while, and you gotta actually do stuff.
Watching the same DVD over and over.
Someone's got to clean the pool. But yeah, you're right. And so that being said, how are we doing on him? Are we looking for more recruits? Are we taking new names and
We
things,
are.
applications?
We're always looking for recruits. If anybody's interested, you can go to Chaves County website and you can apply online. You can apply on Indeed. You can call 624-6500 and we can direct you in the direction that you need to go. But we take applications all year round. There isn't any specific time of the year that we take applications.
And you're always preparing them.
We're always preparing.
They have X amount of academies a year that they send
Right.
cadets to complete the program. But throughout the entire year, you guys are working with the people that are hoping to become
We're doing
applicants.
Academy.
Yeah, so whether you need help physically getting ready or for the book learning side of it, you guys, by the time you get to the academy, you're going to be well groomed and versed on what they're expecting from you and what you need to do. So they will work with you here,
right.
whether it's to put the miles on the track, or on the computer. That's what they do, and they get you ready. And because let's face it, it costs a lot of money to train a person, to send them to the academy and bring them back and put them on the streets here to protect and serve. They don't want to send people that they think aren't going to cut it, because at the end of the day, money makes the world go around, and no dollars, no donuts. So
no dollars, no cents.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
so
it's on average it costs me between $6,000 and $10,000 before somebody hits the street by themselves. And that doesn't include putting them in a $50,000-$60,000 vehicle on top of that, and all this equipment and everything. So there's a lot to it. It does take some time to get to that point, but we welcome everyone to apply, and then we'll go through it from there.
But that's what the great part about it is. I think by the time you're ready for the academy, you're going to have a full understanding of what you're ready to do and how much you because so if that point you're like, dude, I am ready to go to the academy, then we're like, I think we just found our next deputy for the Chaves County Sheriff's
And the
Department.
academy teaches them the letter of the law. When they get out, they have about 3.5 months of FTO. That will teach them the spirit of the law.
That's where you sit down with the deputies and say, okay, this is the letter of law. This is where you got to know when to apply it and when to give a hug.
Right. And they will never encounter the same situation. Our day-to-days, you never know what situation. I've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah.
Same call, always different.
Yeah. But the one thing what happens with the experience and things is you guys give them beats. They work parts of the county.
Right.
And so it's in essence their neighborhood, their area. Sure. So with that, they build a familiarity with the clientele, the people, the regulars, the frequent flyers, people that are that's their day-to-day okay, so when you see a certain set of homeless in the alley, you're like, that's just their normal hangout. This is what they do. There's nothing going on. We just check in, make sure everybody's healthy and safe, and then we go on. Or no, that is a notorious drug dealing spot. Certain individuals there, you learn that stuff. And and that's what makes them better deputies is because they start talking to the neighbors. They hear the stories, the good parts, the complaints,
they learn the area.
Everything. They learn who's the shadies, who's the ones nosy on the shadies, and all of that kind of stuff.
That's right. Yeah, 100%.
And all of that is, and good officers. And that's where it comes back to being Charles and Chuck and Lieutenant Payo and that guy and just walking in and saying, how you doing?
I believe that my stance is the higher you get in rank, the more available you should become to the public. And we see oftentimes as people move up in rank in departments or offices or whatever the case may be, now they have a secretary or they have an assistant or they that cuts people off, or sometimes a lieutenant or a captain or all these things. But my opinion is the higher that you get up in rank, the more availability you should have to the public, because you have people doing those jobs that you were tasked to do. So now your time should be spent being available for those phone calls, being available. And I know I'm one of the world's worst. I know I'm very busy. And to anybody who's listening that I haven't called back, I apologize. I will. But there shouldn't be all these roadblocks. It should be, sure. You should be able to talk to the boss.
Absolutely.
And that's what's important.
That's the nature of the position versus, and that's the balls we all have to juggle.
We're not there to hide in the back and collect a paycheck and run things from behind the scenes. We're responsible for that. And so therefore we should be held responsible and answer responsibly out into the front.
And then sometimes people just have questions that no one can really answer until they get to the levels where you're at. The deputy be like, I can't answer that. That's 7 pay grades up above me for a answer here.
I don't know the answer, but I don't want that job.
Whatever. Well, that's true. But guys, is there anything that you want to mention that we just got way sidetracked on?
We're going to be running as usual. We're going to be running roadblocks. We're going to be doing traffic enforcement. We're reminding everybody schools are back in session now, obviously, from the holidays. Pay attention to the school zones. Pay attention to the buses, the children.
It's bad weather conditions.
Yes. We're proud to say that our SRO is back. We have an SRO in the schools, back in the schools now.
Great.
We're looking at putting a second one. Where eventually, we have a lot of end goals, long-term goals. A third K9, possibly another 1 or 2 SROs. We have a lot of plans that we'd like to see come to fruition and that we're working on. So
hopefully, our legislators can help shake the tree here in the next 30 days and get some money to come down. So,
I hope so.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Absolutely. Well, as always, we appreciate you having us. And if you know of a crime that's been committed or you have information, you can call and remain anonymous, 624-6500. If you're wanting to apply, 624-6500.
Don't you guys have a website, too, where they can read the application?
Absolutely.
Is it just the Chaves County website?
Go to the Chaves County website.
.gov. And go into the Sheriff's Department
under the Sheriff's office.
And then you can go right there.
That's right.
Or you can always walk in talk to one of the front desk or someone can get as much information to you as possible there if you prefer to do face-to-face stuff.
Absolutely.
So, thank you, guys. Stay safe. Tell all
your voice
we'll
back.
Get there and maybe and sorry, ladies, I'm not single, so this is doing something for you. Sorry.
There's the Barry White.
Wolfman White, Barry Jack.
Yeah. Hey there, hi there.
But you guys, thank you for all you do. Stay safe.
Thank you for having us.
And tell all your brothers and sisters that we're praying for them and
absolutely
and thankful for their service.
Thank you for your support.
Good deal. It is 8:57. Let's do some news before more news. Don't go away.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Cirillo. Artesia police continue looking into a shooting incident at a local park last weekend. On Saturday, officers had responded to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Recreation Complex for the report of an unresponsive male subject. Tragically, that man could not be revived. Lupe Hernandez was pronounced dead at the scene. Meanwhile, officers worked the crime scene, and Artesia police say they're still awaiting results of the formal autopsy report. At this point, there's no word on a possible suspect in the case. New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham is proposing a 10% spending increase at the state capitol amid a massive windfall expected from oil and gas production. The extra spending, Grisham says, would shore up affordable housing opportunities, increase child literacy, and health care access. On Thursday, Grisham proposed a $10.5 billion budget plan that would take effect in July. General fund expenditures would be increased by just under $1 billion if the governor's plan is approved. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
If you plug your nose, you can't tell the difference between an apple, potato, and an onion, unless you open your eyes. Here's Mike Winters.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. Had a lot of games scheduled for last night originally, but the schedule got shifted around apparently. We do have some scores for you, though. The Goddard Rockets boys played against Taos at the North-South shootout in Taos. Taos is the host school this time, and the Tigers won that 58-41. Goddard will be back in action this afternoon at 1:30 against Belen, which I believe is 5-7 overall. NMMI, meanwhile, takes care of Tatum, no problem, in boys hoops by a score of 53-16. In girls basketball, it was Dexter losing to Jow by a score of 37-24, and Dexter will be right back in action tonight at Hagerman. You've got the Roswell boys on the road playing at Mayfield tonight. Roswell is 8-7, Mayfield is 4-9 overall. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
I'm meteorologist.
Dozen sites used by the Iranian-backed rebels in Yemen. In a White House statement, President Biden said the strikes were meant to demonstrate that the U.S. and its allies will not tolerate the militant group's ceaseless attacks on the Red Sea. UK Defense Minister James Heappey talked about the airstrikes in a Sky interview.
Now, no matter what you think of the Houthi argument about their support for Hamas, we can't allow the Houthis to ransom the free flow of global trade in order to make that point.
More scrutiny for Boeing. Federal aviation officials are investigating Boeing's role in ensuring the safety of a jet panel that blew off an Alaska Airlines plane during a flight last week.
The Federal Aviation Administration says it's investigating whether or not Boeing made sure that fuselage panel that blew off the Boeing 737 MAX 9 jet was safe, and if it was manufactured to meet the design that regulators had approved.
Correspondent Jackie Quinn. Many parts of the country are getting ready for more wintry weather if they don't have it already. Brian Jackson at the National Weather Service says a storm in the Pacific Northwest is expected to bring some bitter cold.
We're expecting temperatures, compared to normal, to be 15 to 25 degrees below normal as it moves through.
It's just one of a number of sprawling storms. There are the possibility of tornadoes in the south, deadly wind chills in South Dakota. Schools and flights are canceled in parts of the South as well as the Midwest and Upper Midwest. More at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals, too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
Rental car giant Hertz is changing its mind about EVs.
Hertz has decided to sell 20,000 electric vehicles from its rental fleet, including Teslas, Chevrolets, and BMWs, saying it will replace them with gas-powered vehicles. The company cited higher repair costs as the primary reason. It could be seen as a warning, a sign that demand is cooling, according to some analysts. Some are saying expectations for the electrification of the transportation sector need to be reset downwards. That follows news of both Ford and General Motors slowing their production and delivery of their respective electric vehicles. Bill Alexander, Washington.
Israel is defending itself against South Africa's allegation that the war with Hamas amounts to genocide against Palestinians. There's a court hearing going on at the United Nations top court. The Jewish state strongly denies those accusations. News and analysis at townhall.com. A preliminary review finds no connection between suicidal thoughts and a new class of diabetes and obesity drugs.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration officials say they cannot definitively rule out that a small risk may exist
for those taking medications such as Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. The agency said Thursday it will continue to review reports that some patients taking the drugs or similar ones had thoughts of suicide or attempted self-harm. The agency says people taking the drugs should report any concerns to their health care providers. Keith Peters reporting.
An Airbus plane operated by United Airlines had to cut short a flight this week after crews got a door indicator warning. The Chicago-bound jet was diverted to Tampa. It later took off after the issue was addressed. The incident involves a different kind of plane from the Boeing MAX 9 incident last week. Townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to hour number 3 of Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. It is me. Trust me. It does not sound like me. But it is me. So happy Friday, everybody. I apologize for the Wolfman Jack / voice, creepy guy voice here got going on. I feel good. I've been kind of out of pocket here, down, but I feel good today. I feel fine. My only thing is I have no voice. This is about the best I can muster right now. And I can't keep it for long periods before I get pretty wiped. But other than that, I'm good. Like, my head's completely normal now. Like, I don't feel full of garbage. My chest, obviously, still got a little phlegm situation going on. But I don't feel feverish anymore. I don't have any all the other things that were going on. I'm not coughing and hacking. It kind of just settled right there on the voice box a little bit. My chest feels a little heavy, but not like it was earlier in the week. Like if I tried to do this right, a couple days ago, I would have been coughing. So to just get to at least this part is actually a huge improvement. So thank you for bearing with me, and I apologize. I'm hoping Monday when I come back in, it'll sound a little bit more Mike-like to all of our salespeople. I apologize, but might be a couple days before we get any commercials made. None of us have a voice. Sean, unfortunately, he's been the trooper all week, bearing, carrying our butts through this, and now he is sick. So he's home, and he's home getting better, and he's out of commission. So he can't voice because he's done. I can write, I can do everything, but say, hey, come by widget X, or I can, but it's gonna sound like this, and this, maybe that's someone's desire, but I don't know. But sorry, folks, on our sales, we'll get that going. Just bear with us on that end for any of those listening this morning. I've been kind of staying out of the limelight here last few days and just kind of working with Sean and Gene direct. Gene's been kind of, I hope he's not sick. He's in Artesia, so he's kind of stayed away from. It's just been our Roswell folks that kind of been impacted by this. So, he's up there, but in the meantime, he's kind of the only one with a voice. So it might be Gene Dow radio over the next several days because he's the only one that can speak that doesn't sound like we're stalking you in your closet or just can't hear us. So, sorry. One thing I need to do is thank the fine folks at McDonald's as they do each and every Friday. They provide us with delicious McDonald's breakfast treats. Their tea has been helping me it got me this through the morning so far, so big thank you to them. If you are hungry, don't forget that McDonald's has that app that you need to put in your smartphones. Have it handy because it'll save you bacon one day when you're hungry and need something. You're like, oh man, could be on the road. I've had it a few times where you're traveling and you're like, oh man, I ain't got time. But McDonald's app, my wife pops it in, boom, boom, boom. We go through the drive-thru, boom, we're continuing our road trip. Didn't miss a beat, and we got fed. It was great. But if you're on the go and you're busy, that app can be your real friend. Don't forget to is when you download the app, sign up, create a username and a password, and get you an account. Because you start building rewards on that account. And the first time you use that account to make a purchase, you've earned rewards towards free food. And after just 1 or 2 visits, next thing you know, you got a free breakfast sandwich or a free coffee or a free Big Mac or something waiting for you. It's pretty handy. The one crux in that plan that me and many others suffer is they have exclusive online deals that are only available if you download the app. And those deals are pretty darn good. So good that I don't end up using my free point rewards for free food because I want the deal instead. And the deal is something like the one that kind of reels me in every time is the 20% off your entire purchase. Because some days I can get a little gluttonous, and a couple meals in there, and I'm like, well, shoot, 20% that's a big savings. I kind of like it, so I do that one a lot. But a lot of times too, if you're like, well, I'm hankering for some chicken nuggets, they're like, oh, here, buy 10, we'll give you 10 more for free, or buy 10 for half price. They do stuff like that all the time. So we all eat McDonald's. We all hit it. McDonald's is, we all know McDonald's. It's all in all of our lives in some way, shape, or form. So make it easier for you. Download that app. Utilize it. When you're in a pinch, that thing will save you bacon, and it's pretty good stuff there. So big thank you to the McDonald's folks for sponsoring and providing us with delicious breakfast treats. The LT was in the undersheriff. They were able to, because none of us are eating this morning. Well, I say none of us, Jocelyn and me. That's all that's here. And me, I'm just sucking up liquids and holding on to it like a water buffalo. And one of these days, I knows what the fuck they eat loose. But anyway, and so I'm glad they got to eat some of our McDonald's food this morning because Jocelyn, she don't eat like us gluttonous pigs, and I'm not quite ready to eat. So we're good. But big thank you to McDonald's. We do have Nook from Asian Market scheduled to join us today. That was on my schedule. I didn't write it down. I think it was booked during the week when I wasn't here. So I have not seen Nook in yet. I do have as a backup for right now. We had Miss Janine Best join us from the Chaves County Federated Republican Women Wednesday morning when I tried to come in for a half a second and learn real quick that, like this today, I tried to do that, and every time I tried to do that, I'd just start coughing or I'd get winded and I couldn't get anything out. It was like trying to push air. It just wasn't, it was weird. But anyway, so Sean talked with her, talked about their next meeting, which is next Wednesday at the Roswell Convention and Civic Center. So they talk about their guest speaker and always looking for more members of the Chaffetz County Federated Republican Women. Spoiler alert, you do not need to be a woman to be a member of the Chaffetz County Federated Republican Women. Men are also a part of it, usually their spouses and things, but not necessarily. And they're part of like, I guess the equivalent of I don't know the term they use, but it's like an auxiliary for them. And so they serve in that capacity. So if you are interested in what they do, and obviously by the name, they represent the values of the Republican Party and are wanting to help promote the candidates that are running on those values. So if that is something that you agree with and line up with and find something that is important to you, they are always looking for more people to go and be a part of that. So we're going to play that interview for you here in just a little bit. If I don't hear from Nook, and quite frankly, may do it either way, because I normally am a windbag, but I'm trying to reserve my windbagginess for too much as I need it at this point, because the voice is good here, but it comes and goes, and I want to keep it while I got it and don't want to lose it again. So, but I think it's getting to the point where it's just a little bit each day. The voice box or whatever is kind of all gummed up there, is just kind of starting to get a little loose. This is not trying to make this all about me, but I ain't gonna lie. A guy that talks for a living, I can't talk. It's kind of turned up my world upside down a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm learning. This is a moment of learning for me, because normally I'm just blah blah blah, and now today I'm like, I start to blah blah blah. And the funny part, and this is the part that makes me kind of life's lessons you just gotta laugh at a little bit, is my wife, who's been a trooper. She's the one who got it before I did, and so she's battled it, and she didn't get as much downtime as she should have. Nature of work sometimes, it just is what it is, but fortunately, she didn't lose the voice like I lost the voice, but she experienced a lot of the coughing, a lot of other aspects of this. And the funny part about my wife, we talk, and for folks that listen, is my wife's being a school teacher. She's also my wife. She's hard of hearing. She wears she has hearing aids, and so when she with the hearing aids in, she can hear at a relatively normal level where you can have conversation with you, teach and talk and do all that. But when you don't enunciate, or if you kind of mumble a little bit when you talk, she has trouble discerning what you're saying. She can hear the audio. She just can't tell what the audio is. Just sounds like blah, 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 blah to her. So, with this week being it very difficult for me to project and enunciate without sounding like some kind of patient or anything, sometimes I'm just like, how are you? And she can't hear me. And then, but it's the part where it got bad is like at night or in the morning, kind of when we're either in bed or just getting up or getting ready to go to bed, and she's taken out her hearing aids for the day or hasn't put them in for the day yet. And there's times that she can't understand me, and it's an effort to repeat myself. So when I say, hey, good morning, how are you? And she's just like, what? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. And I'm like, because I got to get my breath back to say it again, and it kind of comes across like I'm being short. And yeah, I mean, I'm frustrated, not at her, more so at me, because it's just frustrating that I can't get out what I want to get out. And so it makes those times a little funny. And, we laugh at the moments where, kind of the bees thing I did on the radio earlier. There's a movie called, I believe it's called, is it, can't remember what it's called, but I think it's called like As Good as It Gets or some. Sally Field's in it. She's not the main character. It's a comedy movie. But her husband, who is also the dad in Step Brothers, the boat guy, there's a scene where he can't talk, and he's in a wheelchair, and he's got a voice box because he's got the larynx issue. And so he talks, with the talk, he uses the voice box, and he sounds just like me. And so yesterday, my wife, I was doing this because it's the only way I can, if I got to put this in it to get some kind of audio. But anyway, so I was talking like this, and my wife just looks at me out of the blue and says, "Can you do me a huge favor?" And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Can you just say bees?" I knew exactly what she's talking about. There's a line from that movie where the guy with the wind box, the trach thing, whatever it's called, he's sitting there in his wheelchair, and he's in he's out in this garden thing, and he's by a bunch of flowers, and he can't move. He's stuck in the wheelchair, and I think he's got limited, I don't know, he just has I don't remember the circumstances. But anyway, and he's sitting there, and a bee starts showing up and lands on him. Next thing you know, a bunch of bees. And then it turns into one of those, those people that do, the bee beards, where they put thousands of bees on them and just let them hang on and do beards and weird hairdos and whatnot. Well, he's turned into that, where he's got, the Abe Lincoln beard. It's full of bees. And he's just sitting there, and he looks at everybody, and he goes, "Bees." It's the funniest thing. It makes me laugh every time. I don't know why it does. It just hits me. And so now that I sound like that, my wife caught me on it. And it kind of was one of those moments in the life that you have to laugh when you deal with these moments in life. But it was just kind of one of those funny things. So, I guess we don't have Nook, do we? I think it's all quiet. So, all right, good deal. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and get you up to date with the weather, and then we'll come back and do that. And then I'll take a break, and then we'll introduce the interview and all that, unless Nook rolls in. But it is 22 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Looks like the wind will calm down a little bit today with that cold front now through our area. We'll be getting sunshine across the whole area. Afternoon highs in the low to mid 50s. A little bit breezy, wind at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Pretty cold overnight. We'll drop into the upper 20s under clear skies, and then 60 and plenty of sunshine on Saturday. Cooler Sunday, 50 and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 33 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 28%, and winds are currently out of the east at 3 miles per hour. Today, really the winds aren't going to be as bad as the last couple days here. I experienced most of them from the inside of my house. But yeah, it was pretty brutal. Not so much of that today. Expect highs in the low 50s. Sunny with a high of 53. Winds will be out of the west 5 to 15 miles per hour today. For tonight, we're looking at mostly clear skies. Expect an overnight low of 26 degrees with winds out of the west 5 to 10 miles per hour. Looking at your Saturday, sunny skies, 61 for a high. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday night, we're looking at partly cloudy skies. Expect an overnight low of 22 degrees. Winds will be out of the east at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Looking at your Sunday, we're going to see cooler temps and bringing some Arctic temps for Sunday and the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Partly cloudy on Sunday, expecting a high of 37, so we're going to be above freezing, but not by much. Winds will be out of the south, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Sunday night, partly cloudy. At least our overnight low will be in the double digits, 19 degrees, which is pretty darn cold. But it's warmer than what I'm about to tell you for tomorrow, the Monday night low here, so brace yourself. But 19 for Sunday night, Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday. Sunny skies and a high of 41. Then for Monday night, mostly cloudy and an overnight low of 9. Not 19, but 9. As in Gordie Howe's jersey number 9. That is the low for overnight Monday night. So pipes, trickle water, all of that, you're really going to want to do that. I would start Saturday for sure, maybe even tonight. Tonight we're dropping down in the 20s. So you might want to start trickling this next couple of days, tonight beginning. But absolutely for Monday night and Sunday and all that, as we're getting into the teens and single digits, that's going to be some pipe bursting business right there if you don't do a little prep work. So get ready. Get those pipes insulated. If you've got those that are backed outdoor, open up those cabinets under the sinks to allow the heat to circulate in there. Leave a trickle of that water. It does make a difference to keep that water from freezing up, and you'll save yourself a whole lot of headache later, especially if, because at best the pipes freeze and you have no water. At worst, that pipe bursts and you got water where you don't want it, and that's in your house, all over your house. So a little proactive on this one. Just trust me, you don't want it. All right, so 9:26. We'll go ahead and take a quick commercial break. If my guest isn't back, then we'll play our interview with Janine Best from the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. But I'll come on to give you some more creepy voice to introduce it either way. So don't go away. You're listening, I promise, to Mornings with Mike Winters.
My name's Art Scott. I'm a New Mexico dairy farmer and rancher and a proud Republican. But this year, I'm supporting Teresa Ledger Fernandez. As our Congresswoman, she's committed to listening and serving Eastern New Mexico while delivering on what's important, like funding critical water projects. Teresa delivered $177 million for the Eastern New Mexico water pipeline that serves communities across the eastern part of our state. And she stood up to the federal government, holding them accountable for contaminating our farm and ranch land. She is fighting for our livelihoods and our traditional farming and ranching way of life. Teresa is also working to make things easier for all New Mexicans by lowering the cost of prescription drugs and ensuring our veterans have access to quality care. I hope you'll join me in supporting Teresa Ledger Fernandez for Congress.
I'm Teresa Ledger Fernandez, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message. Paid for by Teresa for All.
At one point, when Jesus was teaching the crowds, a rich young ruler approached him and asked how he could inherit eternal life. Jesus told him to follow all the commandments, which the young man had done. Then Jesus took it a bit further and told the young man to give up all he had and follow him. He knew the young man was holding on to something. The man walked away dejected, knowing he wasn't willing to give up everything. In a poem titled Treasures by Martha Snell Nicholson, she writes these words: "One by one he took them all from me, all the things I valued most, until I was empty-handed. Every glittering toy was lost, and I walked earth's highways, grieving, in my rags and poverty, till I heard his voice inviting, 'Lift your empty hands to me.' So I held my hands toward heaven, and he filled them with the store of his own transcendent riches, till they could contain no more. And at last I comprehended, with my stupid mind and dull, that God could not pour his riches into hands already full."
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
At Artesia General Hospital, our board-certified podiatrists are committed to providing personalized care in a welcoming environment. Dr. Jennifer Chow and Dr. Michael Krupa offer the latest surgical techniques and treat a range of conditions including arthritis, bunions, joint care, and more. If you're suffering from foot, ankle, or lower leg pain, we can help. Visit artesiageneral.com/foot care to request an appointment and begin your journey toward happier, healthier feet.
The Fergalicious boys can keep you hot this winter. Fergalicious. Oh yeah, it's getting cold out there, and Fergus Plumbing and Heating has what you need to keep things hot in your home. They can come by and winterize your pipes and check your insulation, and you know they'll do it with nothing but love. Oh yeah, baby. Call the Fergalicious boys at Fergus Plumbing and Heating at 622-2660. When you need it hot, Fergus is on the job. Fergalicious.
You can't hunt camels in Arizona, but you can buy them. They go for about $10 a pack. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 30 minutes after 9 o'clock, and our guest, I have not seen, so I'm going to think they're probably a smart move. They probably hear us on the radio and be like, no, I'm not going anywhere near that place. Listen to them. Smart choice. But anyway, so on Wednesday in the 7 o'clock hour, we had Miss Janine Best from the Chaves County Federated Republican Women join us to give us an update on their next Federated Republican Women's meeting, which will be next Wednesday at the Roswell Convention and Civic Center. So they had a great little conversation about not only that, but just getting people, volunteers, things like that. Talk a little bit about some of their service work they do also when they're not doing stuff for, the political side of things. So here is our interview that Sean had with Janine Best from the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. Enjoy.
Joining us in studio this morning, Ms. Janine Best from the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. How are you doing this morning?
I'm blessed. How are you?
It has been a crazy
good morning,
week.
21
so the
minutes
update after 7 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning, Ms. Janine Best from the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. How are you doing this morning?
I'm blessed. How are you?
It has been a crazy week. So the update is that Mike and Kim, his wife, celebrated New Year's with our sales manager, Mr. Thomas Beard, who we later found out had come down with a pretty severe case of RSV.
Oh.
Yeah. And that then transferred to Mike and Kim. Mike's been pretty down and out for the last few days.
I am so sorry. Let's pray that he hopes he gets better.
Absolutely. We
that
saw
is
him,
not good.
We saw him for a few minutes yesterday, and it was pretty rough.
Yeah.
It was real hard for him to breathe. He's coughing all over the place. I had to come in here and kind of Lysol the whole room after he left.
Good for you.
Oh yeah, no. I as soon as he came in, I jumped online and typed RSV possibility of spread, and as soon as I saw that, I'm like, okay, this is very contagious. We're gonna spray this.
Lysol, yeah, Lysol. I love Lysol. I used to call it fairy dust with my kids, and I just sprayed the kids as they walked in the door.
Absolutely, it's great to spray the kids with Lysol too because they're extra sticky from activities that happen outside.
Exactly, it works great. It's a win-win.
It adheres to them.
Yeah.
So a new year, a new Chaves County Federated Republican Women. What have you guys been up to?
Well, we haven't been up to much because this is the first month of the year.
Mm-hmm.
We had a really good meeting last month. We had a good inspirational speaker in a quartet, and Santa Claus came and visited and all that. This month, we're still at the convention center.
Mm-hmm.
We still are able to hold that spot, but the convention center doesn't cook anymore. So we have got Peppers to cater for 6 months. We have a contract 6 months out. So Peppers will be catering all of our meals.
Nice.
So this month's meal is pot roast.
Ooh.
We wanted something nice and warm. All of us ladies, we like that. We like to feed these men and make sure they can work and all that.
Even though food.
Yeah, comfort food. And it's winter and it's cold and all that. So it's roast beef, whipped potatoes, green beans, salad rolls, butter, and iced tea. Our first meeting for the year, always the third Wednesday of the month, which is going to be Wednesday the 17th.
Okay.
We do open our doors early at 11:30 because we like people to come and sit and talk and communicate and have a good time and all of that. Our guest speaker this month is going to be Carla Sontag, and I probably butchered her name. She's with the New Mexico Coalition, Better Together New Mexico, Rebound New Mexico. So they work closely with our legislators, which you know, the 17th is when we have our luncheon, but the 16th is when the legislative goes into session.
Back into session, yep.
Back in session. Only a 30-day session. So it's going to be fast and furious this year. Then we will have them, by the time they get done, we'll have them back in March.
Okay.
So I'm not quite sure. Let's see. February, Bill Williams and the Roswell City Manager, Chad Cole.
Okay.
Will be our guest.
Very cool.
So we've got everything lined up for the whole year, if you can believe that.
Do you really?
We do.
Now, when do you guys sit down and planogram this whole thing out? Is it like on January 1st, you sit down and say, okay, let's get the year figured out?
We had it figured out before because it's a very big election year.
Absolutely. This is definitely a vital year. And if you've been paying attention to the news and everything that's been happening, this is going to be one of those years, and we say it every election cycle, but this is the most important election in our nation's history.
Correct.
What happens after this election is going to change America from head to toe, essentially, for the next decade.
It is. And I pray that it's a good one. I pray that everything goes according to order, whatever. So after March, after our legislators, then we start with our candidates.
Okay.
You have to be a Republican to speak at our meetings. We usually have 150 to 200 people at those meetings every month. So it's a good venue to come and talk and inform these folks.
Absolutely.
I mean, we have the best information out there, and we collect it. We come in, we get it to come in. So each month will be certain folks. Of course, June is our primary. So between March and June, it's going to be fast and furious with speakers.
Right.
And then you can come and hobnob with them and rub shoulders with them and talk to them directly. And that's where you get your information, directly in the horse's mouth.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of what we're doing at this point. As you know, the Federated Women, besides that, we have our scholarships. We help our veterans. We send Christmas cards out. We contact them. We help the Assurance Home. We're just a busy organization.
A lot of irons in the fire.
A lot of irons in the fire. We have a lot of men. We have a lot of ladies that help. We have associates, men associates. I believe we're up for this year. Of course, you have to renew every year, like any membership. Cheapest membership around, $35.
Oh, wow. That's for the whole year?
That's for the whole year.
Oh, dang.
$35. You do have to pay for your meal.
Sure.
We did have to go up $1 because we had to cater it in now. So it's $17 a meal.
Okay.
And you can pay at the door. We prefer RSVP, which would be...
Those three letters have just rang in my ears all week. You add a P to it, it's just, okay, it's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Right.
RSVP. So please respond to us so you can get your plate of food.
Yes,
yeah, there you go. And it's
Respondez-vous pour I used to know what RSVP stood for. It's French. It's Respondez-vous, respondez s'il vous plaît. That's what it is.
Okay. I have no clue.
Please respond.
I was taught as a child and through etiquette classes, it's a necessary thing. I found out in today's world, it's not quite as necessary.
It almost never comes up.
People don't even do it.
We live in a walk-in society. There's too many places out there that are just, come on in. We'll facilitate you. We'll work around you.
And it's very hard when you put together meals like this every month. You have to have that number for that cook.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's crazy. Peppers works with us very well. I mean,
Peppers is an awesome restaurant team, and the group they have there, Adam and the whole team. I mean, the way they work with organizations here in Roswell and Travis County, it's second to none. It's absolutely amazing.
They've been working with me a long time. I had the Grace Corn Heritage House years ago, and they were awesome. I mean, they would do it on the flip of a dime if you needed them. They were always there, and they're very local.
Is that the Airbnb now? I drive by it a couple of times a week, and I look at it, I'm like, is that an Airbnb now?
There was an Airbnb on Lee.
Okay.
And that is up for sale now. Mine was the venue, and it's been closed since 2008 because Roswell didn't embrace it.
Yeah.
Roswell needs to embrace some of their small businesses.
You are ahead of our time, I feel like.
You are correct.
If you do it like nowadays, in this day and age, I feel like we'd be ready for it.
You are correct.
Yeah, just a little bit ahead of our time.
I kind of modeled it after the 1960s parties that my parents used to have, and that just didn't work.
The old soirees.
I know. White jackets and black bow ties.
Yeah, you gotta keep it fancy, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So a busy year, as you mentioned. An election year, lots and lots at stake, and lots riding on basically everybody's vote. So and you guys are obviously keeping busy with folks.
Yes.
What are some of the things that you hope to accomplish in 2024 at these meetings? What are some of the goals for 2024 that you guys have?
Well, our goals are get the information out there to the voters, and that's what our goal has mainly always been, other than our scholarships and stuff. But information. You cannot vote if you don't have the information in your head on how you want to go.
Absolutely.
That is just it. And considering we're the largest federated women in the state of New Mexico,
really,
and we seem to be able to bring in the speakers that can communicate, and that is our main thing. And our ladies love it. This is where they spend their $17 every month is
Absolutely.
with us. So, and it's nice to know that we have return customers, if you want to call it that. But let's see, president election, we'll hear from the Republican candidates running for CD1, CD2, CD3. So this is all of your senators and House folks that are they're kind of shuffling this year.
And that's what a lot of people forget is, yes, the presidential election is a big deal, but these lower offices, these the House, the Senate, even on the local level, your comptrollers, these are the things that affect us on the local level.
Yes.
So these are the races and the elections that you really need to pay attention to.
Yes, and like I said, they're shuffling this year. A lot of these folks have been in the House, and now they're moving up to the Senate. It's just they've done their time down here. They've learned. They've educated themselves. They know that they need to step up the next level. And like you said, it's your home-based folks that need that information, and that's how you get it. Is you come and you hobnob with us. There's no other club that brings these folks in all in one place. We are in. They don't even bring them to some of the other meetings because the other meetings are at night.
Yeah.
And they just can't drive down from Albuquerque and Santa Fe. They come in specifically for this luncheon.
And as you mentioned, folks moving up to that next level. We're going to be chatting with Bill Williams later on this morning, all about or mostly about Greg Nybert's seat as he moves up.
Yes.
To the Senate. I believe seat 59 will be open.
Correct.
And
they've got 1 week to present someone to the governor.
1 week.
Yes, they have. They will interview. I think they're interviewing folks today that are running for that. They have 1 week before they have to present the governor with who they suggest to go into that seat. And it's 3 counties that can suggest. 5 counties that can suggest that.
Okay, that's amazing to me how. The governmental process moves slower than molasses uphill, and yet sometimes they put these deadlines, these like random deadlines on you so fast, and you're like, oh, it's head turning.
Well, and this was probably a political move.
Oh, of course.
I have a real problem with politics at this level because to me it's all about the citizens, and it's not working that way in the last 2 years. But I have a beef. But that's okay.
It does seem like it's more now than in like a decade past.
Correct.
That local politicians' political affiliations seem to take the center stage, and that's very odd.
It bothers me because this is about your public.
Exactly.
I get it. Politics up high. I get it. I stayed low. You have to play the politics to get in the position you're in.
Sure.
But it's about the citizens.
That's right. Yeah.
And you wake up every day and you communicate with your citizens that, you take the phone calls, you go to the meetings. It doesn't have to do with political, but they're making it political. So
it's
play the game.
I think it's easier to lean towards the political affiliation side of things than it is to, put your entire campaign on, local issues and local values. People don't really pay that much attention to that. We're looking for sensationalism nowadays.
Correct. Big splashes. And I'm not a big splash person. I like to be that foundation.
Exactly. I literally had the thought today. I was like, I get kind of bummed about, the situation that I find myself in. I have a roof over my head. I'm warm. I got food. Things are good.
Exactly.
My kids are taken care
I'm blessed.
of. Yeah, exactly.
I can help people along the way that are walking down the street if they need it. But they also have to respect me.
Absolutely.
And that's where I come across some of the problems because you help them and they don't help you or they don't reciprocate. But that's my problem, I guess. I don't know.
Sure. No, I agree 100%. So what are some of the we talked about the election year. We talked about how it's kind of a transitional year. What are some of the local issues that the politicians here on a local level are looking to tackle in 2024?
You know what? I haven't talked to any of them. I'm so busy getting the food together and getting everything lined out for the ladies that I haven't really sat down and talked to them. I'm sure, of course, always agriculture in my world.
Of course.
That's just where it is in my world.
Mm-hmm.
But I really don't. You threw me a question. I don't know. That's where Joan and them have to come in,
Right.
and I don't see anybody here.
But that's why we come to the meetings, so we can get informed, so we can find out about the agendas and what's planned for 2024. Because like we said, it's going to be one of those years that is absolutely a history maker.
Correct.
So to speak. So,
Correct. And I'm sure it's all, I'm sure it has to do with gun control
Sure.
and the public safety is the main thing, and education and stuff. It's usually, politicians always usually hit the same MO.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but it's here that you need to care about. And then you need to find out where their heart is. And that's where you can come and talk to them personally.
That's right. So come to these meetings. Let's be a part of it,
And we're only an hour. We don't go over an hour. So you can come in, sit down, eat your meal, talk to them, and be back at work by 1.
Look at that. That's an all-in-one little package.
All in
I
one
love it.
little package.
So the first meeting of the year is coming up on January 17th.
Correct.
And that's going to be, you said, at the Roswell Convention and Civic Center.
Correct.
Absolutely. Again, catered by Peppers, and this is for the first half of the year.
First half of the year till July.
Awesome. Now, if folks want to RSVP, if they want to find out more information from you,
Would love them to. It's 575-420-8455. That's my number. I don't say hello. I say my name because, if you say your name, the paid people don't answer. They usually hang up. So if I sound like I'm barking, I probably am, but don't take it seriously.
I've found if you answer in a different language, a lot of times they'll just hang right up.
They will.
Hola?
Yeah.
Hola.
Unless they speak that language.
Yeah, then you're really
then you're really in trouble.
Like, I'm going to level with you here. I was just trying to get out of the call. The one I actually have encountered yesterday, this is very interesting. Have you ever encountered a robocall that answers you?
Yes.
It's off-putting. Like, I was like, hello, and they're like, hi, we're calling for such and such. I'm like, as soon as they stopped talking, I said, are you a robot? They said, okay, so what we're here to, I'm like,
Exactly.
And click.
And they can't pronounce Janine. If they cannot pronounce Janine, you know that it's a
Right.
total mess up. They don't know you.
I ran into that with AI yesterday. I was trying to get an AI voice to say my name, and I had to misspell my own name to get it to pronounce it right.
Exactly.
It pronounced my name Scenes Smalls. I'm like, no. SHAWN, fine. We'll spell it the wrong way.
So AI in the country world is artificial insemination. So I'm still having a hard time with the AI artificial insemination and AI artificial intelligence.
I completely, you know what? Very different processes.
Exactly.
Very different processes.
Exactly.
So you really gotta be careful which one you identify.
Exactly. When you sit there and watch the TV and the news, you're going, wait, that doesn't make sense. But then
one involves a glove that comes down to here.
Exactly.
Which, if you've ever watched any in that process,
exactly,
you can't unsee certain things in life.
Exactly.
That's one of those things.
Exactly.
So again, the first meeting on the 17th, that's gonna be happening at the Roswell Convention Civic Center. Who's the speaker again?
Our speaker is Carla Sontag with New Mexico Business Coalition, Better Together New Mexico, Rebound New Mexico. And they work very closely with our Republican legislators to get all the information out that needs to be getting out.
Very good.
February is the city manager and the county manager together. So that ought to be a good one too. Hopefully we can figure out what's going on for the citizens in the county and the city, not the politicians.
And hopefully we'll have a little clearer picture on who our candidate's going to be and then how that's going to go moving forward.
And we can announce those if they've got that announced.
Sure.
Yeah.
So a busy year, and like we said, this is one you want to be tuned into.
Yes.
Definitely.
Get all the
informed.
information you can. The more information, the better choice you can make at the polls.
That's right. It's one of those things. I encounter this every single time I go to the poll. I'm inundated with information.
Yes.
You're going to get it, nonstop from all different sides all year long. Everybody's going to tell you why the other person is wrong. But then when you're at the poll, you got all these different voices just bouncing around in your head, and these choices are laid out in front of you. That's when you have to be informed. You have to know what you're voting for, based on your personal beliefs.
And you're right. It's you. It's not your spouse. It's not your kid. It's not the news. It's you. And you need to go in, and there's always free rides with the city to go in and put your vote down in person. Because who knows? You know, we know our county clerk is perfect and great in this county, but who knows what's going to happen? You want your vote to be secure and safe. You vote there, you stick it in the machine, and those machines are not connected to the internet as far as I know when they are in that room.
Right.
So they're not interfered with.
Right. The eye roll when you said they're not interfered. And we assume that they're not.
Correct.
But go in informed, make the right decision. You know, I've been talking with my friends about this recently, with the poll numbers, especially for the local and the smaller elections being at record lows. It seems like for the last few years. You really want to bolster those numbers at the poll? I already know how. I know exactly how to do it. It's a simple solution. Serve hot dogs. If you just serve hot dogs and Pepsi products, that's how we get half the people coming to our remotes, is we're slinging hot dogs. So if you just set up a guy at the door, cast your vote, get a hot dog and a soda. I'm just saying.
But that has to be 100 yards off?
Sure. Okay, so 100 yards away. Soda and a hot dog. I'm just saying people will show up.
That's a good thought.
Yeah.
Are you buying the hot dogs?
I'll supply, sure. I know a guy. I know a guy in the Frankfurter business. So again, if you want to RSVP or want more information, you can call. It's 575-420-8455.
Correct. Correct. That is my number, and I will answer. I always answer.
And if folks want more information, besides the phone number, do you guys have Facebook
There's a
page?
website. There's
okay.
a website, Federated Women, New Mexico, Chavez County Federated Women on Facebook or email. Or
Now for your Pecos Valley News update. King Jr. Recreation Complex for the report of an unresponsive male subject. Tragically, that man could not be revived. Lupe Hernandez was pronounced dead at the scene. Meanwhile, officers worked the crime scene, and Artesia police say they're still awaiting results of the formal autopsy report. At this point, there's no word on a possible suspect in the case. New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham is proposing a 10% spending increase at the state capitol amid a massive windfall expected from oil and gas production. The extra spending, Grisham says, would shore up affordable housing opportunities, increase child literacy, and health care access. On Thursday, Grisham proposed a $10.5 billion budget plan that would take effect in July. General fund expenditures would be increased by just under $1 billion if the governor's plan is approved. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Your morning espresso starts right here. It's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
They're only showing up because he and his lawyers are confident that Joe Biden's Department of Justice is not going to prosecute them. Otherwise, there's no way they would have showed up. Now, he doesn't want, they make a big sting. Oh, we want this to be public. It will be public after you go through the normal process, like everybody else, of doing a closed-door deposition. And the White House would not comment or say whether they knew that Hunter was going to crash the hearing and insist, well, he's a private citizen who makes his own decisions. This is not a Hunter Biden issue. Everyone thinks this is about Hunter. No, this is about Joe Biden. The fact that Hunter defied a congressional subpoena means he should be treated the same way people like Bannon and Navarro were treated. It's that simple.
The Sean Hannity Show from coast to coast later today.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Looks like the wind will calm down a little bit today with that cold front now through our area. We'll be getting sunshine across the whole area. Afternoon highs in the low to mid 50s. A little bit breezy, wind at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Pretty cold overnight. We'll drop into the upper 20s under clear skies, and then 60 and plenty of sunshine on Saturday. Cooler Sunday, 50 and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Greg Clugston. Wholesale inflation fell for a third straight month in December.
The Labor Department says that its Producer Price Index, which tracks inflation before it reaches consumers, declined 0.1% from November to December after falling 0.1% in November and 0.4% in October. Measured year over year, producer prices rose by a mild 1% in December.
Correspondent Ken Lormond. More job cuts at tech companies. Audible, the Amazon-owned online audiobook and podcast service, is letting 5% of its workforce go, and social media company Discord is laying off 170 employees. That's 17% of its staff. The FAA will audit Boeing's aircraft production. This after a panel fell off a jetliner during a flight last week. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Greg Clugston.
Score a touchdown at your next tailgate with La Poblanita Party Tostadas. The perfect chip with the most satisfying crunch in the game. Flavored just right with El Charro's signature seasoning, it's the dippable chip that bites back. Make game night a winner with the chips everybody talks about. The chips that make bland salsas better and good salsas great. Snag a bag of La Poblanita Party Tostadas at your local grocery stores all over southeastern New Mexico. And get the party started with La Poblanita Party Tostadas by El Charro. They're all that and a bag of chips.
At one point, when Jesus was teaching the crowds, a rich young ruler approached him and asked how he could inherit eternal life. Jesus told him to follow all the commandments, which the young man had done. Then Jesus took it a bit further and told the young man to give up all he had and follow him. He knew the young man was holding on to something. The man walked away dejected, knowing he wasn't willing to give up everything. In a poem titled Treasures by Martha Snell Nicholson, she writes these words: "One by one he took them all from me, all the things I valued most, until I was empty-handed. Every glittering toy was lost, and I walked earth's highways, grieving, in my rags and poverty, till I heard his voice inviting, 'Lift your empty hands to me.' So I held my hands toward heaven, and he filled them with a store of his own transcendent riches, till they could contain no more. And at last I comprehended, with my stupid mind and dull, that God could not pour his riches into hands already full."
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Pecos Valley Production is excited to announce their online ordering has never been easier, because now you can order from PVP online in Spanish. Simply head for PecosValleyProduction.com and switch the tab on the bottom left of your screen from English to Spanish. Now, it's never been easier to get access to the healing and calming products you need simply and affordably. Just log on to PecosValleyProduction.com and switch the tab on the bottom left of the screen from English to Spanish. Pecos Valley Production. Dairy to dank since 2016. Must be 21 or over with valid ID to purchase.
The Western Junior College Athletic Conference play is underway for your New Mexico Military Institute Broncos. The Broncos tipped off conference with a home loss to the visiting Howard Hawks Monday and traveled to Levelland, Texas Thursday to face the number 1 South Plains Texans. Your next chance to see the Broncos at home is Monday night, January 15th, when the Frank Phillips College Plainsmen visit the Cahoon Armory. Come out and root for your NMMI Broncos Monday, 6:30 p.m.
The inventor of Pringles is buried in a Pringles can. I wonder if they got their hands stuck putting him in there. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 9:58. We're about ready to wrap up the show. And a big thank you to all of you for allowing us to be a part of your day. It is greatly appreciated. Hopefully I will be back Monday morning with a much less aggravating sounding voice. So thank you for putting up with that, and thank you for just allowing us to be a part of your day. We're greatly appreciated. Of course, if you ever miss any part of the show, you can always go back and check it out at your leisure at ksvptv.com. just click on the Mornings with Mike Winters channel, and you will find all of our interviews there. Only real new thing we had today was in the 8 o'clock hour when we had Under Sheriff Charles Isis and Lieutenant Drake join us from the Chaffetz County Sheriff's Department to just give us an update talking. We had a great conversation just talking about law enforcement and their perspective, and and we also talk a little recruitment because, as you know, all of our law enforcement agencies need more qualified people to step up to the ranks here, and not just the Sheriff's Department, but our Roswell Police Department, State Police, all of our law enforcement agencies. So big thank you to all of them. But KSVPTV.com, click on the Mornings with Mike Winters channel. You'll find all of our replays there. Have an amazing weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Roswell's home for talk radio is 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.